Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to the ArchCast, where today, obviously, now would not be a good time to insert an ad, YouTube. I really hate that little pop-up. I really despise it.
He loves it. Ad time. It always pops up right away, too.
Yes, like if it was actually popping up when it was a good time to insert an ad, maybe I'd press it, but no. God damn it. Right. Today, obviously, we're going to talk about Company of Heroes, because... Well, the thing is, it's not because of Company of Heroes 3. Despite that obviously being in the title and being the most relevant recent day reason, and it certainly is the spark, but it is not the cause. The cause is that I've been a huge fan of Relic strategy game ever since Homeworld, back in literally the last millennium. And they've done good stuff. Like the Relic RTS has been really good. And Relic has always been a force for innovation as well. That's, well, always. Up until recently, anyways. Think about it. Homeworld was a major departure from RTS at the time. The entire thing of having an actual 3D sphere didn't exist before Homeworld.
It's true. And he's dead.
Cough, cough. Cough, cough. Cough, cough. Part of the clinger set itself in my throat, and I may survive. Homeworld also, that was their first title, which is remarkable when you come to think of it. The first title a company makes is Homeworld, and it revolutionizes the genre pretty much straight up. Like visually, it was stunning, particularly for like 1999. Control wise, it was revolutionary. It had excellent sound design, excellent visuals. It had the basic ideas of very extraordinarily simple swarmish AI with little fighters going meow around the screen. It even had a follow cam. People keep forgetting that, but it actually had.
I mean, you had to play it that way. You couldn't not follow cam in Homeworld 1.
Oh, no, I mean follow cam as in it had like a fighter pilot view kind of thing.
I mean, you couldn't view the first person mode, but you could, like, how it works is you press the F key, or so there was the shift key, and it would automatically toggle the camera to that group of fighters or the individual fighter.
Hey, and you can follow the individual fighters as it zooms around going pew pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention too the music. Like that was one of the big the starting strengths of the original Relic crew. Homeworld had excellent music, excellent story design, excellent presentation. It was just a damn fine video game, and it was the first video game they made, so that tells you a lot. It was then followed up, of course, by Impossible Creatures, which I still have quite a soft spot for, because it was a really cool game, even if it was dumb. Very dumb.
The thing is, there aren't very many games besides like Earth 2150 that let you build custom units, and those that do exist normally aren't very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And Impossible Creatures with its subsequent expansion were rather interesting because you could see the creatures physically change, and you could fight with them, and there was different balances. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a cool idea. Again, the idea didn't work in practice because the idea was okay. So RTS games are limited by the amount of units you can have. You only have so and so many units. Get boring quickly, right? How do we deal with this? Well, divide the units into several parts so that you can have like the legs, head, torso, and was there tails on some? I think some had tail, like scorpions and shit.
The scorpion, and then there was the bugs, which got the abdomen, like from the ant, if I remember right.
Yes, the Insect Invasion DLC expansion, well, DLC expansion pack.
Barch, what is DLC? This is a different era. Get out. This is back when you had to go to the store and get a expansion. You wanted to update your game, you needed to go to the fucking company's website to download the update manually.
Uh-huh. And the idea was cool, because theoretically, you could have like, I'm looking at the screenshot here, 5 to 6 different slots that could be customized.
I'm opening up the game in the background, at least in the store page, so that chat can actually see what we're talking about. Because Impossible Creatures
People
is
might
available on
know
Steam.
Impossible Creatures. To be fair, it's a bit of a niche title.
Hey, if you're looking for a little RTS, THQ Nordic actually touched up a bit. It's a fun, silly, but a very adventurous campaign. Honestly, give it a shot. Like it's rather cheap and it's got a lot of charm to it. Oh God,
It's pretty cool.
I forgot about the character's face.
Oh yes.
Oh no. Yeah, it was a fun game.
The problem, of course, was that whilst in theory this meant that you had hundreds, if not thousands, of unit combinations, the fact was that only a handful of them were actually useful, in that there were some meta combinations that were
Yep.
just simply better than others.
Here's the creature customizer. I did like the bug DLC because the ant models were really cool. But yeah, like if you wanted to play this multiplayer, play it with friends, play it casually, and you'll have a lot of fun. If you start getting sweaty, like there's only a few like meta things you can do. It also has, if I remember right, let me check my library. It has I believe they added a Steam Workshop. They did actually. So yeah, there's some custom maps and stuff for you to play on too, if you ever want to give it a shot.
So whilst the theory didn't quite work out here, it was still a really cool and innovative idea, you know? And it did lead to some really awesome units like Tiger Piranhas.
Oh, that's right, there were water creatures, wasn't there?
Yep,
oh my
there were.
God.
It was an interesting idea. And again, it continued Relic's habit of trying to innovate, to do cool shit. And then, of course, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War. Man, it was the first time. It was the first true breakthrough game that 40k had. Like, there were good games previously, like Rights of War is one I bring up constantly because I thought it was really, really good. But Dawn of War was on an entirely different scale. Like, before that, you know, Games Workshop was like, video games? Weird little things. Never be profitable. After that, there were like little model ads in everything they did in the video. Like, now you can buy them models, because suddenly they realized this was an enormous market that they just didn't know a damn thing about.
Yep. Unfortunately, Dawn of War also helped to bring it mainstream. Wink, wink.
Yes. So Dawn of War also was quite innovative. It was the first time they did 40k in that way. They did fairly large scale battles, and it was kind of a bridge between the traditional RTS and what they would eventually do, like 2 or 2 years later with Company of Heroes. Because Dawn of War was kind of their like first like, right, how do we go about this? And of course, sync kills. That was another big thing that nobody had done before.
I remember putting my units in melee with my dad because we could just watch them like stab each other, the Space Marines, with their giant combat knives. That was pretty cool.
Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can...
Best part is there were unique sync kills per faction, too. The Eldar had unique sync kills, the Space Marines did, the Imperial Guard did, the Necrons did, the Tau did. Dawn of War 1's intro is pretty sick, too.
Oh, it had a fantastic intro.
I was always disappointed by the sequels, because the sequels never had like a CGI cutscene. They just used in-game rendered stuff, and they were all right. Like Dark Crusade was kind of cool, but man, it would have been so much cooler if it was actually like a Dawn of War 1's, where it was a full-blown CGI cutscene.
Here, whilst we're doing with this, just hit the mute button, because I'm sure this is copyrighted somehow, but the video is not copyrighted, obviously, because this is just a fan compilation of like sync kills.
I would get it pre-muted.
Something neat to have in the background, because God, there were so many cool ones, and as you mentioned too, there were customizable ones too. Like they, if you kill the Bloodthirster with a Force Commander, he leapt up on it, and smashed its head together and shit. Like, it was really goddamn awesome.
Heroes had it. I remember the PC Gamer magazine. My dad and I went to the Barnes and Noble. We picked up a Gamer Mag, and that's back when we had subscription. Fuck. We got the subscription magazine, and there was this huge diorama of like Captain Gabriel Angelos fighting all these orcs, and it would look so cool. And then we're like, hell yeah, we're picking that up. And I remember getting the box too. Had a really nice cardboard box that looked really cool.
It was great. Like, it was actually genuinely great, and it added so much just visual eye candy to the battle. It was also one of the first games to really do blood in that way too. Today we look at this blood and go like, "Wow, that's some creative assembly level ketchup right there." But
Yep.
back then, this was really good.
Extremely violent. Another cool feature is you could, in the settings, enable persistent corpses. Granted, they would only be persistent if your camera was watching them die. If you didn't watch that area of the battlefield, sadly, they weren't persistent there. It was the only
It
thing I
was
ever didn't
really
like.
interesting. It was so goddamn cool. And again, Relic continues to be crazy, continues to do cool shit. Like the next one was one of their smaller ones, the Outfit, I believe, a third-person shooter. Like it was one of the few times when Relic kind of just went like, we need to release something," and they did, and nobody remembers it pretty much. Company of Heroes, of course. There's the big one in 2006 or something. Revolutionized RTS. Absolutely revolutionized it in terms of gameplay, in terms of visuals, in terms of sound design. It was also one of the first times when we had proper cutscenes again. That's another thing that we've almost completely lost recently, like good, impressive cutscenes. Like Warcraft 3 was one of those where just like everyone knows the opening cinematic, and you just don't get that anymore.
God damn, these are cool. I love those orcs, the ones with the heavy DACA machines. I can't remember what they're called. Those are awesome.
Yep. And after Company of Heroes, that's when things started getting a little bit dodgy again. Because, yeah, the company wasn't on the downward swing just yet. Dawn of War 2, there's a lot of argument in Dawn of War fans whether 1 or 2 was the best. Personally, I prefer 2 over 1. And of course, there was Space Marine, which was a damn good third-person action game for all of its. Yeah, it was a bit short, a little bit lacking in scope, perhaps. But the point too was that it was intended to have several sequels that just never happened. We'll have to see if the currently planned one works out.
Yep. It also came out in a very bad time where it was like it was going up against games that were way better than it and outclassing it. Because that was also
Yes.
when there was a lot of good shooters coming out. And so I had a hard time keeping up. People now have started to discover it and are like, "Wow, you know what? It's sort of like Spec Ops: The Line, another one of those shooters that just
Mhm.
got buried because it was against so much in terms of competition."
It's also one of the first games where Relic failed to really do something a bit special. Like the biggest thing is they did the system where you need to kill things to regain health, which was cool, very Space Marine-y, but they didn't really think outside of the box. They really didn't do anything particularly special with it. But hey, that was fun and fair and good third-person shooter. But in retrospect, you can kind of see that that was when Relic started to stagnate. Company of Heroes 2 came out after much ado and delays and dumbassery, and was like, if it had been released when it was originally planned, because THQ was going under, it would have been an enormous bomb. As it was just like, eh. Like it's not bad, but it's not COH1 either.
Yep. It
Company of Heroes
was
2 grew on me, like over
Yep.
over time. Like
After they had time to work on it, after they added the Americans and the what do you call it, the Oberkommand or whatever the fuck.
yeah, Oberkommando West.
Yep. After they added that, then it started to get good, and then they added Breton, and the game was actually genuinely good. But
Mhm.
if you do want to pick up Company Heroes 2, they to unlock some of the lower or not lords, the special companies and special units, you need to buy the things. I think Seth Zintek did a video on it, and there's actually a store key or something he's on how to
The
get cheaper there. Not sure.
Company of Heroes 2 has a lot of bad DLC
Yep, scummy
in that they
DLC.
have. Yeah, they have semi DLC where they have like commanders, and most of them share the same abilities in the same units, but slightly reshuffled. It's very lazy, and I don't like it. It's not a bad game. I still think it loses out to COH1. Like if you have to choose Company of Heroes 1 or Company of Heroes 2, choose 1. Like the multiplayer scene is just about as lively.
Yep. One's really fun. I've always kind of leaned towards one because one just it feels more responsive. I like the look of it, and I like the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
Two just feels, I don't know. It didn't feel as good.
It's just not quite there, you know.
Yeah, especially campaign wise. One has a
Oh yeah.
stellar campaign, and the campaign expansions are awesome for one.
Yep. And then, of course, came the great betrayal.
Oh, your favorite.
Warhammer 40k, Dawn of War 3.
Let me do a flip. Whoa. Oh my god. The game was actually pain. It was awful. I'm so glad it died.
It was like words cannot describe how awful Dawn of War 3 truly was. Like it can't. It was just garbage on every single solitary level. It truly, truly, genuinely was. And we knew it. Like everyone who actually was watching that game knew it. Like they could see it. Like this isn't what anyone is asking for. And Relic just bulldozed ahead. Like, no, we know better. And turns out, no, they didn't. They fucking didn't know better. The worst part is too, if you actually look, here's the big deal as well, right? This was the first time it was properly demonstrated that Relic was just the same as all the other major AAA developers, because they bought the shit out of the reviews, like unquestionably. I just want to remind you, Dawn of War 3 was scoring like 8 out of 10s and like 7 out of 10s and 80% positives and shit by amongst the reviewers.
Yeah, it was kind of strange, but the thing is, like, the major reviewers, like, they've always been kind of bought out. You can't trust people that get copies free or do stuff like that because they're shills normally.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, but yeah, no, reviewers cannot be trusted.
Yep. And it was also one of those games where Relic just like they didn't do anything with it. I was like, let's put MOBA in this. No, that's very, very, very stupid. And it got them punished too. Like Sega is a company as an owner that tends to be very hands off until the company screws up, and then the screws come in, and you could see the screws immediately here as Relic was shuffled off to do basically contract work for Microsoft with Age of Empires 4. Age of Empires 4 turned out pretty okay, but the thing is, any company could have made Age of Empires 4. And that's the thing. Like, it was not a Relic strategy game. There's a dozen strategy studios out there that could have done the exact same job.
Yeah, well, actually, the one thing about RTS studios that I actually find interesting is that there used to be Ensemble Studios, but they were sent to kill themselves on Halo Wars. Like, a lot of RTS studios don't exist anymore.
Sure, a lot of them simply died off.
And you can definitely blame console RTSs and a bunch of other things, but because console RTS is the reason why Ensemble died. And Ensemble are the guys who made Age of Empires. Microsoft killed them with the whole Halo Wars crap.
Yep. And again, like Age of Empires 4 wasn't bad. You know, it was a perfectly suitable Age of Empires 4 game, and it's doing all right in the Age of Empires like fandom market as well. So you know, it not a failure, which is good if nothing else. Because if it had been a failure, that I think would have been the actual end of Relic right there. But it came out, it did okay, and so they were greenlit to continue work on their proper system, which was Combat of Heroes 3, which, my God, I don't know what to think about Company of Heroes 3, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories here. If you could bring up the price list first and foremost, which I think is very interesting.
I shall. What's up?
So this is the regional prices for COH3. This is the digital premium edition, so it's the $80 edition. And you can see the prices suggested by Steam. You can see the actual price, and you can see like the current price. So in almost all of these, except for Uruguay, they've gone way over Steam's suggested regional price for that area. with some areas like Argentina having had an increase of 934%.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Some of the areas.
Yeah. Now, regional pricing is one of those things that is just it's a reality of the market. It is. Like, is it retarded and unfair that Argentina can buy a video game for $7, basically? Yeah, kinda. But this is also an area in which, like, the monthly wage is ridiculously low as well.
Yep.
Like, they're used to buying video games for $10 tops.
I mean, their money there is completely different when it comes to its value. So
Yes.
they're kind of stuck with it. So I actually think that regional pricing, well, it sucks because you can't gift people. See, the thing is about gifting, right? I'm willing to upcharge the payment to gift something to a friend. Like, just give me the option, Steam. I don't care what it takes. I'll pay
Yeah, I
whatever
don't care. Like,
price.
just let me buy it at my price. That's fine. The thing
Whatever
is,
works, you know.
I don't know if that's legal. That's the problem. Because regional pricing is one of those little bit of gray areas, which it's okay once you do it in the area. But the moment you start offering regional prices in other areas, you're technically wandering into some iffy waters there.
That's, I guess. They don't know about all this stuff, so I suppose. But it just would be
But you can
nice.
immediately see that they've done something weird here. They've basically upscaled every single region to the full price of the game. So everyone's paying like 60, 70, $80. Which again, you're not going to be able to sell it. Like Turkey, 824%, Argentina, 934%. You're not going to sell your game in these markets. You're just not.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to, like, they're like, it'd be the equivalent of, let's go to the store, right? And you see a AAA standard $60 game. Now you see a game next to it that's like, that you look like, that's more my cup of tea. Then you see the price tag, $270 or something like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at the other game and be like, nah, I'm getting that one. Because why would you pay that much? You'd look at the price and you'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah. In Brazil, PlayStation 3 will like the price of a year's worth of salary, says the chat. Yep. You're not gonna sell this, like, unless this is a absolute ridiculously good game. Like, you're doubling the price in many areas. Like, you're 100%, like 200%. Even that is ridiculous. Never mind the 900s and the 800s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is confidence or ignorance.
It's. I think they're just flat greed. They want their 60, so to speak, or 70 or whatever it is. They don't really give a shit about anything else.
Maybe. I don't know if that's going to work out in the long run, but we'll see.
And that's going to
But
hamper the player base too for the multiplayer.
it is. It absolutely is. So the game itself. If you could bring up the store page for it, just there's again some interesting choices here. Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, the trailer. I see. It's like the trailers, but the trailers for. Oh, what was the argument I heard? The trailers because it's North Africa campaign. That's why. That's why they're brown people because it's North Africa. It's like North Africa. Like, uh-huh. Yeah, I'll pull it up. I'll try to mute it the best I can. But yeah, I've seen it. It's the lady that sniffs the cloth. Well, weird like.
It's just a weird trailer. It's
It
like,
is.
it starts and you're watching a lady pick out some cloth and be like, "Arr, arr," and you're okay, what the fuck's this? And then you see some half decently rendered tanks do shit as this woman runs around the sand. Like, what are you doing?
Like, go and Google chat Company Heroes 1 cinematic cutscene or intro for the first mission. And again, compare
Mhm.
this piece of shit to that. This is so bad compared to that, it's not even funny.
Or the COH 2 trailer as well. Like,
That's true.
compare any previous Company of Heroes trailer. And it's just confusing. I was like,
The tanks are firing when they're like arcing up. Like, what? That's ridiculous.
Well, that's the part too. Is like you see the tanks at full speed just firing as they're jumping across sand dunes. Is this supposed to be selling a game to me? Like, this is not a good trailer. This doesn't get me interested in Company of Heroes 3. This just makes me confused.
It's dumb. It was. I think it was dumb.
It also stinks of ESG score. It really does. It really stinks of outside investment. I am not fond of it.
Yep.
I am not fond of it.
Because it's super symbolic and artsy fartsy. She raises her hand, loses the fabric, and showing that she's also losing a bit of herself.
I hate this thing too that it's presented as if she's ich bin confused. What are these metal monsters? What the fuck is this noble savage bullshittery? Honestly, she's Arab, and the Arabs are like, war has never happened in Arabia before.
Despite them literally being imperial and they're being war ravaged for like ever, but it's the idea that this place was always peaceful. It's like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
you're not. This is a war ravaged hellhole. That's kind of the
gist it feels like. It's like, we were also peaceful, then the Westerners came. This is taking place in Libya. Like, fuck you. This is not a peaceful place. It's so dumb. And it's so fucking patronizing, too. Here's the thing. You want to actually show some respect for the fucking franchise, for the conflict, for the people who fought in it. Show us the people who actually fought in it. These soldiers. I don't give a fuck about the story about some random Libyan chick. I couldn't care less. Oh, I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the single tier. It's like that. Oh my god! It's like that commercial we had in America, where there's this Indian chieftain and he's on a horse and he sees some trash in the ditch and there's a single tier. And I remember seeing that commercial, and that's after I went, north and past some of the reservations. And I'm like, excuse me, like most of the ditches, they're not that bad. Reservations? Oh my god, nobody cleans them. There's just dirt and garbage all over the place.
Yep.
It's just like silly stuff.
It was annoying. And I get hooked up on it too, because this is just one of those red flags. Because if just taken alone, I would look at this trailer and go, okay, that's just weird, but fine. Moving on. At least it had tanks in it, I guess. But this also comes then in combination with the first trailer, which you might remember. We were like, oh my god, trailer release, and we all gathered together in Discord and we watched this, and all of us were like, meh.
That was kind of lame.
That wasn't very interesting. It wasn't very pretty. It wasn't very cool. And of course, it too has a prominent female front fighter. Because if you remember, the first one also focuses a lot on some random Italian chick who's apparently in the Le Resistance here. Like, okay, I'm seeing the line here.
I'm almost getting annoyed by the constant resistance thing. It's like, the resistance. It's like, the resistance. They were there, they helped, but it's like they get a lot of credit for what the army and the actual fighting happens.
Yes. And again, it's like I've seen on the forums too. Oh my god, Nick Birch, why do you care about the Womexian in the trailer? Because we know what this means. We have 2 trailers now about a game set in World War II. Both of them focus more on women than it does the World War II.
Which is, again, because people want to politicize it. They want to, make it a soapbox. When it should just be a stupid World War II game where you shoot Germans and Americans and British shoot at each other. That's all this game is. Yes. Don't make it some deep philosophical bullshit thing. It never was. Shut the fuck up. It's an RTS game. It's stupid.
And we've seen so many games fail by this nonsensical idea too. And then there's the game itself. Okay, so maybe all of that is just some stupid garbage, right? So how's the game? Well, there's the problem too. So Alpha 1, don't know if you played that one.
The one that just came out? Or the original
No,
alpha?
the first alpha.
Yeah, we played it.
Was that the first one or the second one?
That was the first one. The second one's the one
Okay.
now, right?
No, this is the third one.
Okay, I think I might have missed one of them. I know
Right.
I played one of the other ones.
So the first alpha was very dodgy. Like it did not play like Company of Heroes. It didn't feel like Company of Heroes. It was off by quite some margin. And it also had another few niggling things, like they were black people in mixed squads and the US Riflemen, which is like, all of the little things add up together. And Alpha 2, that was the one you played. That one, much better. Much more solid. It started to feel like a Company of Heroes game. We were even commenting on that. Like this is
I do
starting to
remember
get
that.
to it.
Yep.
Though even then, you remember the ghost tiger, the perfectly silent ghost tiger.
You cannot hear, stinky kitty.
You cannot hear the ghost tiger. And at that point, it was just like, okay, they're missing the sound assets for one vehicle, big deal. And now we're in Alpha 3, and now we're missing the sound assets for the Tiger. We're missing the sound assets for the Opel Blitz. Its wheels isn't even animated, and the light Italian tank is also missing its gun assets. Sure, slapping in a sound asset isn't a big deal. You know, it's an hour's work with a little bit of testing, playtesting, etc. But it's the fact that it hasn't been done yet. It still needs to be done. It has to be finished. And that Alpha 2 was months ago. They haven't added in the sound assets yet. They're 5 months away from release, and we're lacking like basic asset descriptions. We're lacking sound. We're lacking graphics. We've got massive sound bugs that makes the
Yep.
game awful to play.
Oh yeah, you heard that. Did yours have the same as my bug?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
awful. That sound is just vomitatious.
It's terrible. We're missing animations. Like,
Hold on, look at this picture here, chat. So I streamed this earlier today, and the sand was so vomitatiously bright and glowy, it's annoying. And this picture here looks nothing like that. Like here it's not glowing to the point where you're like your eyes hurt. Because it was almost just flat white.
yeah, no, they've done some serious photoshopping on the screenshots.
Yeah, this is Photoshop. Because if this was in game, this would be glowing, chat, and your eyes would be singed out of your skull. Like you wouldn't have eyes anymore.
There's another thing too. Like, okay, from the very first alpha and the second one, I remember a bunch of people, myself included, were like, okay, fucking brightness sliders. Jesus Christ, add in brightness sliders. Alpha 2, they didn't add them. Alpha 3, still no brightness slider? Like, Jesus, the game is physically painful to play.
Yes, like if it especially the desert maps. Holy shit, that I hate it. It actually sucks to look at the screen. It puts you off and it puts you in a bad mood right off the bat.
Yeah, and it gives you a headache. Like, you can't play the game for extended periods of time without actually beginning to be in physical pain due to it.
Like I need to go look at something else. Like I actually physically went under my monitor settings and just manually darkened the screen
Yep.
just to make it stop being annoying for me. I couldn't do it for my audience sadly because there's no gamma slider.
Yeah, and again, like all of these little things add up, don't they? Like you can say, oh, it's just a setting. They can add that in, sure. Oh, it's just a sound asset. They can add that in, sure. And it's like, yeah, but it has to be done at some point. And the game hasn't changed drastically in any of these regards since the previous alpha months prior. They haven't added in the sound, they haven't added in the description, they still haven't added in the translations to the point where now, if you hover over the Veteran C buttons, it's written in Italian, I presume. The game's 5 months from release. Like, we have seen, and here's the thing too. Again, 5 months might sound like a lot of time, but we have seen games in much better shapes than this not fix themselves in that same amount of time.
Yep. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, I think Iron Harvest was one to note. That was much further down the line with their beta, and it still came out and was a little raw.
Yep. So this is worrying, and I'm half assuming, I'm 98% sure that Relic is just lying to us straight up because they know this ain't gonna be fucking finished
Here's
for November this year's.
here's the thing, and I this is my suspicion. The execs are like, or the directors like, you whatever, we'll just ship it. Yeah, people will bitch about it, but we'll patch it. We'll patch it. It's become that's the mentality of a lot of these AAAs. Yeah, we'll patch it down the line. Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll patch it later. And then
Mhm.
they get people to regurgitate that. They're like, yeah, but they'll patch it. People who are like literally simping for Halo Infinite that launched and didn't launch with co-op, and it just got co-op and it's buggy and people are having issues with it. And they're like, see, they added it eventually. It's like they charged you premium prices for a premium product that's incomplete. It would be one thing if Company Heroes on the store page said early access and then discounted it by like 25% off if you want to buy in now. That I would be like, okay, there's a caveat. It's 25% off. It's they're gonna patch more stuff. That's better. And they're not lying to you. It says early access. It's like what Total War Warhammer. It should say early access because the Mortal Empires thing isn't even out yet, and that's gonna be a fucking beta. Like Jesus Christ, you are AAA. You can't just launch into beta. Yet they do it anyways, and they charge you a premium. It's absurd.
Yep. And in Company of Heroes 3 as well, they are currently charging us a ridiculous premium. Like a big deal premium. Like for me, the game is $65 for the basic edition.
Jesus Christ.
Like they are charging a premium for this, and I'm not at all convinced they're giving us anywhere near enough to justify that. If you take a look at the screenshots, and if you leaf through them a little bit,
Yep, I will.
you'll see a lot of them are very clearly photoshopped. Like if you look at screenshot number 2 out of 14, for example, right?
Okay, one sec. There we go. That is Photoshop because look at the edges of the
Yep.
screen, especially in the
Yep.
bottom here. This is Photoshopped to high hell.
Yep. Which raises the question: why the fuck are you photoshopping your screenshots, Relic?
This is
Like that's a bit
Photoshopped.
weird.
Yeah, these aren't accurate in game.
Nope.
This here, like if I pan my camera like this on the desert map, it wouldn't look like this. I guarantee you. In fact, I did, and it looks nothing like this. These screenshots are actually lies. Like the darkening here, notice how the model there is darkened, yet the lighting would be shining on them. The game's lighting doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's such horseshit. Like this looks slightly better. Screenshot number 5. It also looks worse compared to the other ones because of it, but details. This, again, here, right in that corner there. Yeah, no, that's not, like, that lighting effect isn't that normal. That's not in-game. Oh, God, and you also, one other complaint I have. Everything in this goddamn game is so bright. Like, super bright. Like, bright to the point where it's not like the colors are being desaturated by the brightness.
Well, it's actually very interesting to mention that because you can see a very clear differential from when they kind of started receiving those complaints. If you look at screenshot number like 6 and 7, those are from the middle beta, their middle alpha in which we played. And just looking at 6, you can kind of feel the migraine starting.
Yep.
Like it's bright. And then look at 5 and 4 and the new ones, and suddenly way darker. Photoshop filter darker. Huh. Why the hell do you feel the need to do this, Relic? Like, so they know the game is too bloody bright, but they still haven't put in an in-game brightness bar, a fucking gamma bar. Weird.
Like, literally just fix it. Like, what the fuck? Like, stop doing something and fix it. And if you, Jesus Christ, if you need to delay the game, I don't care if you have to delay it another year. I don't want to buy an early access or play an early access game. Granted, Barch gifted me mine, but no one should have to buy a game and have to, like, sift through this crap and for them to patch it. We deserve a finished product. If you're going to charge it premium, delay the game.
And there's the thing, too, though. They've kind of got themselves in a little bit of a trap here because they've set a November release date, which...
Big game release date.
Yeah, that's one of those like big boy release days. Like we can take on any comers. We're gonna sweep in there before the holidays and really get the sales going. Okay, if this was Relic back in the day, I would say absolutely. You've got the name and the recognition to do that. Now, Company of Heroes 3, November release date. That's dodgy. Like, I don't know if that is balls or ignorance again. They might also decide to just delay it, which was what again, I'm 98% sure they're just lying to us and they know the game's not going to be ready, but they want pre-orders to show their investors, basically, to go like, hey, look, this is how many pre-orders we got.
Yep. And they're like, yeah, no, they probably want to make it to their, I'm not sure if they're quarterlies or how it works, but probably for their investors. I just don't think it's a good move. I think this is a really stupid idea.
I'm kind of thinking so as well, because you've got the quarters, so you're moving up to October, November, December, and they can just go and say in November, okay, this is how many pre-orders we've got. Clearly the game's really exciting, but we get a lot of negative feedback as well. We should probably push it and use that as the argument to push it, because I do not see this being done in 5 months.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not going to be upset if they delay it. I would rather them delay it and fix these issues, because when I was playing it today, my feeling was like, why should I pay $60 for this? Because immediately after playing this, I sort of felt like this would have been better as a Company of Heroes 2 expansion, in the same veins of the Ardennes campaign. Like, they just add a massive Italian campaign and then a North African campaign. Like, I'd be happy to pay for that. But now we're paying for a $60 brand new game that's going to be going through all the rocky starts all over again, and it's going to have less factions than the original, or than the previous title. And it's not really bringing a whole lot new to the table. Like, there are some niceties, like Opal Blitz's actually having to carry the guns, like the 88. That was a nice touch. The Panzer III being in a Company Heroes game, that's nice. It's not like we see that ever, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it should be its own game even. It certainly doesn't run better.
There's the flip side too. They are adding in a lot of fan-pleasing things. Like, people have been asking for the Panzer III for absolute ages. They're finally adding it in. They're adding in the Lig. They're adding in an Africa core campaign, which people have also been asking for absolute ages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing is, they are, at least on the face of it, trying to appeal to the fandom again. Like, they're bringing aboard lots of, the sterile community contributors, if nothing else, and, the pro gamers and stuff.
Oof, no, bring them on. It's always a mistake.
Yeah, I'm not convinced about that, because pro gamer is not regular gamer.
It's like, would you go up to that guy Ninja or whatever and ask him for advice on making a game? That sounds like a straight pill to suicide. Because often those big people, yeah, they play games and they claim to be professional streamers, but they often don't know what makes a good game a good game. Believe it or not.
And the thing is too, they have very different views on these games than us. Like, I bring up this topic every time because it's the perfect illustration. Dawn of War 2 was fucking ruined, in my opinion, by the professional gamers, quote unquote, going, oh, we don't like sync kills. We got to remove sync kills. Why? Because it's a slight inconvenience in the highest level of professional play. Fuck you. I don't care. I just don't care. You make up 0 point something % of the player base, and you are going to take out something that is literally the heart and soul of this game.
Oh my god, it's so infuriating. They take the soul out of a game. They take the game out of a game. There's a developer saying that us developers have about players. The player will optimize the game out of existence, and that's referring to players like that. They will take away the game from the game. It'll become a monotonous job. That's what happened to StarCraft 2. That's what happened to all those high-end eSports games. They stop being a game, and they become a sport about maximizing efficiency. And it's no longer fun. The soul has been sapped out.
Yes. And the simple fact is, you, Company of Heroes, you are not going to be the next League of Legends. Fuck you. Not gonna happen. Not in a bajillion, trillion, zillion, quillion years.
Yep.
It's just not gonna happen. And I am sick of making this goddamn argument. For the 16th billion time, if Blizzard, with infinite money, can barely manage to keep StarCraft 2 going as a semi-popular esport, the fuck do you think Relic Entertainment is gonna do?
You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. It's a dumb idea. Focus on the fun first. That's esports are also what killed the CNC franchise. Because that also, they took away the fun. It stopped being about fun missions and fun units, and it became about, well, Tiberium Twilight Sparkles. It became about that, following trends and popular things like that. Bad idea.
It was also what killed fucking Overwatch. I want to point that out too. Overwatch launched, and it was a humongous deal. People were having a lot of fun with it. Hell, even I enjoyed it a little bit early on. But then they kept nerfing things. They kept balancing more and more focus on the fucking esports scene. And now Overwatch 2 is out. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
You're absolutely right. Overwatch used to have fun characters with fun abilities and powers and synergies that you could play. And sure, some of them were a little broken, but you know what? People still had fun with it. But then the esports crowd came in, and it had to be, had to be super balanced to the point where all the fun mechanics were taken out. This happens to other games as well. This happened to Vermintide too, especially with the Pyro chick, where they just start nerfing her abilities and stuff, which is like, why are you doing that? Like, you're taking the fun out of the game to try to make it more difficult, to make it less easy and stuff like that. But what about the fun aspect?
Yeah. What about the fun aspect? The thing is, too, if your game is going to become an esport, it's just going to become one.
Naturally.
You can't force this. You cannot force this.
StarCraft 1 still has a natural esports scene, and the game wasn't meant for esports because they didn't even think about that back then. It just so happened to happen. Naturally.
Yeah. You can't force it. And you will only hurt yourself if you try. Simple goddamn ass. And even then, you shouldn't be making decisions based on the esports scene, because you will end up catering to a absolutely minuscule group of players whilst chasing off everyone else, which is retarded. Especially for a game like Company of Heroes. This is not StarCraft. It will never be StarCraft. Like, it is for people who like Company of Heroes. And again, COH 1 was a revolution. It opened up the... Actually, here's a beautiful thing. One of the big things with Company Heroes that made it so big was because it was so fucking cool, so accessible. Lots of people loved it because it had a great campaign, it had great design, it had great storytelling, it had great multiplayer, and people naturally then played the single player campaign, gravitated online, and it had a fantastic community that is alive to this day. COH 3 is not going to have this. I can call this right now because of the alpha mission. The alpha mission is basically kind of like the very first mission in the American campaign, where you do some stuff, walk around the map, and then you set up an ambush, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ambush in COH 1 is so much better in every single way than in 3. It feels better, it looks better, it's got more like coolness in it. It takes place at night, you got tracers firing back and forth, you're setting up company with your airborne rifles, you're getting attacked by like bikes and Oppo blitzes and shit. So much more cool stuff is happening. Whereas in COH 3, I put the buggy ass 88 up on the hill. I watched the crew get out of sync and just start teleporting around the platform. Got annoyed by the fact that the Opel Blitz's car wheels didn't move. Meanwhile, the British all just died somewhere in the distance.
Yeah, and the best part is like the wave mode, because I played it twice on stream, and did a comparison with Company Hero 1, and the wave mode in 3. What the enemy does is they just run through you. They don't stop to engage. They don't try to take cover. The enemy infantry are running past your tank and getting shot by the flamethrower tank that you put behind it. And they just keep running. They're running to the end goal. They have no sense of preservation. It's like unit move to point A and point B. Not even an attack move order or anything like that. They just keep going. And it's really dumb.
It's really dumb. It's not epic. It's not interesting. It's not visually pleasing. It isn't cool. It's a thing that happens off in the background. Not a very good idea.
Nope.
And there's already glaring balance issues which annoy me, because again, it's an alpha, but some of their decisions are just so goddamn Relic. Like the Italian engineers, the Gustatori or whatever. They're a full squad, like a 6-man squad that does everything that engineers do, just as well as the engineers, that come with minesweepers and 2 flamethrowers. There will be no reason to ever build basic engineers with this faction, because this unit is hilariously good and kills enemy infantry and buildings with 2 bursts of its flamethrower. Just whoosh whoosh, dead.
Yep, what's the point of building the other one?
And there's also, because I remember this was a massive deal for a little moment in COH2. They were playing with the call-in cost for certain units, and they made the assault grenadier dudes for the Russians a 1 CP call-in. They came in and they had that ignore suppression ability. They had grenades, they had PPSHs, 6-man squad with armor. They were unstoppable. They would kill anything you could bring out to the field to meet them, granting complete map dominance. These units strike me as the exact same mistake all over again.
Yep. It's like they're just repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
The Panzer Grenadiers feel like shit. Their DPS is terrible. They have a special ability that gives them halfway okay DPS, but they get their asses kicked by just regular British rifles in cover, even upgraded with MGs. The Assault Grenadiers are Assault... I think they're Assault Grenadiers. The MP40s, they're a lot better, but they just don't feel as good. Like their little MP40s are very plinky plonky. They're not particularly satisfying to use. They don't look particularly cool when they're doing what they're doing. They're just not very fun to use. The same with the Gustatori too. Walk up, flamethrower, push, push, done. It doesn't have a whole lot of impact.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out quickly before we move on past flamethrowers, the flamethrower effects are okay, but when you burn enemy infantry, it's very unsatisfying. Like, the enemy have some death screams that they use, and the battle chat is okay, right? It's not bad. But when the unit burns, they just go like, ugh. It's like, oh, okay. Like, you're just gonna go ugh when you're covered in flames and running around on fire. Gotcha. There's not appropriate death sounds for certain units when they die in certain ways, and I think that is a touch that's often missed in a lot of games. And I think it's also missed here, very much so.
Well, actually, on the topic of battle chatter, the banter chatter is serviceable. It's there. It's done in accents, kinda.
It feels like attempted accents by people who aren't German or Italian.
Yeah, like it's okay, but it's not very good, and it certainly is nowhere near the level of COH1 or even 2 either.
Yeah.
Like it just feels stiff and stilted and kind of like half-assed. Like the German guy, like, okay, he occasionally sounds German, then he sounds very American for a bit. Like, okay. The British too, like it sounds like an affected accent. Like they just drag a random Canadian off the streets, like, oi, be British. And it's like, oh, mate.
Oh, mate, me bloody friends. Oh, they all did. I mean, they could have literally hired us, and we'd do just about the equivalent job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be very unconvincing.
And it's all repeated very frequently too. Like I've seen no sign of those occasional gems you get in the other COH games, little cool things from the Tigers and the Panzers, etc. No like casual chatter on the battlefield, just the same line repeated again and again. Like, shooting at us from over there. We should shoot back or something.
Enemy are shooting at us. Or what was it when they killed an AT position? It's like, we killed an AT position, bring up the tanks. It's like, I had a squad of infantry by themselves, there was no tanks, and I wasn't going to bring tanks over there. It's like, that's a little disconnected with what's happening in the map. The tanks aren't coming, little buddy. So, okay. Oh,
Well, I do kind of like the idea of the adding in different units with the customization layout for divisions and stuff, which they've been talking about but haven't really showed so far. But it sounds like you can kind of pick and choose and mix up what kind of units you want to bring, which is nice. Like it's an improvement upon the system found in COH2, which was not very nice because some divisions were just better than others and blatantly so.
you need a supply pack, or you can buy them.
Yes.
Good luck RNGing that supply drop to get that commander, though. You'll need it.
Yeah, and they also
Yeah.
required ridiculous amounts of grind because, of course, they did.
Yeah, Company Heroes 2 is so grindy to the point where I remember playing that game like almost religiously for a while, and I still only have like 2 purple commanders, if I remember right.
Mhm. It's very much so a you unlock this with your daddy's credit card kind of game.
It's like, get your credit
Like,
card
yes,
out.
you could theoretically earn these commanders, but you're not gonna.
I was so lucky when I got the Easy 8 commander. I was trying to grind that one. Yo, that took fucking forever to get him. Oh, that was so stupid. So this one they're gonna let you customize like what you can deploy. So you can be like, okay, I want some Strettatoi, whatever the fuck the Italian engineers are instead, and I want this and that.
That's what it seems like, which is a lot better. Like I'm liking the idea for that. How it works out is
That could
we'll
be
have to wait and
really
see.
cool with the British Empire. One thing I will say that I want to praise this game on that did something that made me happy was the British I was fighting. You don't get to play as the British in this, but I noticed the British had a lot of colonial troops. I saw Australians, I saw the Gurkhas, and I'm kind of hoping that we see more colonial troops because that's something they don't really show in a lot of games in World War II, in the North Africa War, and how many colonial troops the British Empire was using. So that was a nice touch.
Yes. They're adding in some more unit variety, which I quite like. You can add in some colonials and cool stuff like that. That's very neat and might potentially be something cool. I'm wondering how much of it will be added though, because that's the thing. Because now we've seen the Gurkhas, we've seen like the foot guard and some basic units. We've seen the Gastatori. How many? How many is the very, very large question. Because if it's like in Company of Heroes 2, there will just be a handful of these, and they'll continuously be shuffled between all of the various divisions, which is just boring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of lame. And also, we're gonna have to buy like what kind of annoys me, and maybe it annoys you. I don't know. But like if we want the Americans or whatever, well, they're gonna be in this game, so the British and the Italian and Germans. But we're not gonna get like the Russians, and if we're gonna want them, it'll be like a DLC. So I'll have to pay for them again. But I sincerely hope that they stick to this game and give us a lot more faction variety of World War II. Like I would like an Italian, or I would like an expansion for a lot more stuff than just the Mediterranean theater.
Italy's gotta be given some shit. Like, I get it, right? The Italian army was a piece of crap. Absolutely, no doubt about it. But you've already added in the ridiculous looking Gustatori with their fucking.
Their black suits and little
Yeah,
gas
their
masks.
black armor and gas masks in the desert. Like, okay, right. You've already gotten pretty silly, so you might as well give us the Italians.
Like that man inside there is gonna be passing out very soon and then dying of heat stroke.
Yeah. Like it's just a stupid unit. So yeah, you can just give it to us. It's fine. Like making all of the Italian units like call-ins, I don't like that. That would be a big failure in my
I
opinion.
want like an
Big
Italian
fail.
faction. I want to be able to start and play as the Italians if I want to.
Yes, I want a proper Italian faction. That would be very, very nice. What was that about?
They're
That
silly
was
hats.
distracting me.
They have little flumes in their helmets. You know that? That's kind of silly.
They do have little things in their helmets, which is adorable in one way, shape, and maybe form. There's the other thing too, though. This isn't even all because there's going to be DLC, there's going to be expansion packs, stuff like that, yada yada yada, which is fine and fair because it's the current fucking year. Like, you're not going to get around it. They're not not going to ravage you with all of their DLC bullshit. It's just gonna happen. And you know what? I'm fine with it as well. I am actually genuinely kind of fine with it. I said when they were making Dawn of War 3 that what they should be doing is they should monetize stuff like the armor patterns, like colors and pauldrons and all kinds of cool shit. Like you can buy it and be like, "Yay, my dudes are space marine, space wolves now," or etc. They should have done that, which they did a tiny little bit at the end of Dawn of War 2, and then really never did again. And they could do the same to a certain degree here. I would prefer it if they monetized visual stuff instead of units, because this, of course, is again the problem, isn't it? The moment you start adding in unlockable units behind a paywall, very, very soon you got the Gastatori, for example. Let's say that they're one command point. You get them almost right out the gate. Right. Now what the fuck does your enemy do? They cost the same as a basic infantry squad, but a basic infantry squad isn't going to stand a chance against these fuckers with their double flamethrowers. And so now the German just has complete field dominance for the initial part of the game. And it's a payment unit.
Yep.
Problem.
The other thing I want to point out is faction DLC as a whole is fundamentally a terrible idea. Company Heroes 2 is proof of that. Absolute proof of that. Basically, when you have factional DLC, what you're doing is you're promoting, oh, this player has this faction. Well, that means they're going to have like this aspect that's going to be better than you. So even if they, let's say they do add the Russians in, or they add, Hungary or whatever, some interesting countries, they, by charging for it, would be absurd. They should be free LC.
Not gonna happen.
I know.
I'm just gonna say it.
I know
right
it's not gonna happen, but for the multiplayer balance side of things, that should always have been free. It's the same for like a first-person shooter with map pack DLC. Like what you're doing is you're segregating the player base. Here, you're not segregating the player base. Here, it's like, oh, this faction has all these unique mechanics that are super good at countering the Americans. Well, now guess what? You're fucked because you can't really do anything about it. But if you buy this other faction, they're pretty good at countering that new faction. And so the cycle continues.
The thing too. There's very much so the temptation for the game's creator to be, but if we make them a little bit too good.
Games Workshop does that with their minis. And
yes.
And that's the thing. Total War Creative Assembly does that as well. In the multiplayer scene, factions that are bought often are better than the base game factions in the multiplayer scene. So that way, if you're in the multiplayer scene, you are absolutely fucked. Like, get fucked. Like, I remember the big thing I'll always remember, what made me quit Total War Warhammer multiplayer, was the Beastmen. Because the Beastmen, with their little buff you could do for their Beastigores, which is give them a potion, and get like 3 or 4 of those Beastigores, and you just win the game. They have too much health, they kill too many dudes, it's bullshit. Like, I hate that shit. That's so fucking, that's not fun to play.
And yet, that is kind of just how stuff is, straight up. But here's the interesting point, too. Okay, we're assuming that there's going to be DLC. Because they're even selling it right now. If you buy the digital special edition for $80, you get the year 1 DLC pack, or which is going to come out in 2023. All right. Okay, cool enough. Are you going to release it, though? And that sounds like a silly question. Of course they're going to release it. It's Company of Heroes 3. It's going to be supported for ages. Dawn of War 3 was also Dawn of War 3. And that one, they were clearly teasing, like, oh yeah, we're going to have Necrons. That game died before it could get them. I'm not sure I want to trust Relic right now to be like, oh, we're totally going to get you a DLC pack.
Yep.
Are you?
I want to point out something that pisses me off too. Okay, you notice on the recent events and announcements, there's Relic 25th anniversary. I love how they constantly parade around Gabriel Angelos from Dawn of War 3 as if it's like this big triumphant game they made. As if they're trying to be revisionist about it. Like, the fact that that is there is like just a spit on the face of everyone who ever bought that game. Remember that game you guys bought and we didn't support and we said, fuck you? Yeah, look, there it is in the background to be misleading. Fucking hate that.
I hate that goddamn game. And the worst part is too, like, it's the game that made me really dislike Relic from a business standpoint, because What did they do? They announced, we're not going to support this game anymore. It's an enormous failure. I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree. It is an enormous failure. And then they said, oh, by the way, it's on sale now.
Yep, to deceive people who wouldn't read that update into buying the game. So they deceived their own customer base and tricked them. Like, that's just sickening. And not only that, but they also made an announcement lashing out at the fandom. It's your fault the game didn't succeed. You need to simp harder.
Not a fan. Not a fan of it at all. Relic is not the Relic we remember. And to be fair as well, there are parts of Company Heroes 3 that I like right now. But it's not revolutionary, but like towed vehicles, cool, I like it. Adding in Africa Core, the Lig, etc. They are feeling very Panzer elites. So that's one thing. It's not particularly unusual, but okay, cool. They claim to be getting contact with lots of community members, which is what they should do. My problem is that they're probably getting only the sanitized ones, you know, the 20 to 40k followers people that, you know, they're there and they've been in there forever, but they're not the people who are going to talk out. You know, they're that size where if Relic comes to talk to them, they go, oh my god, Relic Senpai, I'll do anything you want to me.
What do you want me to say about your game? Tell me it's amazing. It's amazing, Daddy. It's amazing. It's like, oh, I hate that. And this is the problem we saw with Dawn of War 3. They did the exact same thing with that game, too. Where they had a whole YouTuber with a letter name L in his name. And he simped hard for Dawn of War 3. Simped like you wouldn't believe. Bent over backward. It's going to be amazing. You actually don't know what you're talking about. You know? Or just like, stop it.
You know. Just stop it. Now, to be fair, I've talked to him, and I can name drop him because he knows Luton, because he entirely admitted, yeah, no, he got that wrong. Like that wasn't it wasn't a malicious thing. He was just mistaken, and he was lied to as well. So I'm fine with that. But the thing is, I blame the YouTubers partially because you should know better, but at the same time, they are at that size where if Relic comes to talk to them, they are naturally going to be very, very charitable. Yep. And that's just how it is.
I mean, but I will say this. So that was more of a joking jab. Like as somebody who used to pretend that Steam Curator was a serious thing, I mean it's not. I remember when I was first contacted by Ubisoft and I was like, "Oh my god, they want me to play a game." No way. And then I played it and it was bad. And I remember just being like, it's not very good. And they're like, re-review it. It's like, no. No. Like, you do get that sense of when that happens that you're like, oh, I feel bad. And they're like, oh, it's a big developer. But you have to be like, no, like it's shit. Like you have to actually be able to stand up for yourself. You can't you can't be wowed.
It's not easy. It is a difficult
thing. It
thing.
does take willpower, because I remember when it first happened to me, I was like, wait, is this my big chance? And then I blew it because I... But, you know, details. And that's the way a lot of people do it.
They have already bought the mainstream gaming press, because every article I found about COH3, the current alpha, was just like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's so great, full of praise. Not a single one of them mentioned that basic assets aren't in the game. And I want to point out too, for anyone who thinks that we're being a bit too harsh on that, it's just an alpha. Fucking bullshit, is it? The game is 5 months from release, and it's feature incomplete. If that's true, you should be running for the fucking hills. Because a feature incomplete game, less than a half year from launch, is a problem.
Yeah, feature incomplete. That means features haven't been even implemented. And if there are features that haven't been implemented, God, they haven't been tested, they haven't been refined, they haven't been polished, they won't be in time.
You know, it's a huge problem. And I also want to point out, the whole, like, open development thing. Great, I love it. It's something that more developers should do more often, because it does give us the ability to actually look at games like COH3 right now and go, this isn't looking very good. It's open, it's honest, and I do think it's a very good practice. However, It's also not a shield. You know, you can't go like, oh, well, but they showed us, therefore nothing can possibly go wrong. Because I remember Eternal fucking Crusade.
Oh, but Barch, it's better now. They took the
Oh,
servers down. It's infinitely better. God, Eternal Crusade had such simpery for so long. We're like, guys, you don't understand. It just needs more work. It's like, it needs to be deleted. It's a lie, a scam. I put way too much money into that game back when I had free spending money because I wanted to believe that game could make it and I wanted to support the developers with those stupid rogue trader points. And I convinced so many people to give it a shot. Oh my god, what a waste.
I too wanted to believe, and it was a foolish, foolish mistake.
It'll be planet side, but like Warhammer 40k. Huh? No.
Oh, they never even implemented any of that shit.
Yeah, big giant map where multiple factions fight over and the Tyranids will randomly invade behind your lines to sow chaos and dissent among your back line. And it's like, oh, that sounds so cool. Never happens. There's a Tyranid horde mode put into the game that's just awful. Everything about the game's just terrible. Clunky ass controls. But it's from the developers that made Space Marine. Yeah, what, the janitors? Like, what? Like, this game doesn't feel like Space Marine. If you look at it, if you look at gameplay footage of Eternal Crusade, you're like, that kind of looks like Space Marine. But if you play it, or played it, I should say, because it's dead now, you would have been like, this is like the poor, sad man who's blind, paraplegic Space Marine. Like, it's just
Not
sad.
very Space Marine.
Leggy doesn't work very well. It just kind of ass.
And I also, because this has been a complaint going back for years now. And it doesn't change. It's still the exact same complaint because it's still a correct complaint. If a game developer tells you, oh, it's just a beta, bruh, you can't criticize it, fuck them. Because this has been the excuse forever now. They just slap on a label and go, oh, you can't criticize it. Why? Oh, we're going to fix things. But they never do, though. They never do.
The correct developer response is if a player brings up a question about, like, hey, you know, the wheels don't move. Yeah, we know. It's going to be in the next patch. Here's the reason why. It's because we just didn't have the time to. But next patch, the wheels will start spinning. And you're like, okay. But you know what they say instead? It's an alpha. They don't give you a reason. They don't say when it's going to be fixed. They don't say what's the holdup or what's next. Because the developer doesn't tell you any of that. A developer that tells you is like, okay, here's the reason why. And, you know, this is what's going to be the next patch. So, yeah, the wheels are coming. But they're not going to be in the next patch. They'll be in the one after that. You know, because there's a queue of stuff that needs to be done. But what do they tell us? They tell you jack shit. So you have no idea what's actually happening. Or even if anybody's working on it. Maybe he doesn't even know if they're fixing it. Maybe that's why he's saying, like, I don't know, maybe.
And again, a game 5 months away from release being in alpha is a fucking problem.
Yeah, that's more of a concern than anything else. Like, it should be beta.
At the
Not
very
alpha.
least.
Not alpha. Alpha means that there are features and functions not even functioning in the game, and they have 5 months to not only implement them but also fix them if there are problems.
It's also interesting what they're choosing to show us too. Like one of the big things they've been showing off recently is developer diary destruction, and it's voxel physics on destroyed buildings, and they're like, my god, this is a huge new thing. Look at it, it's revolutionary. Like this was in Medieval 2.
Medieval 2 has voxel damage, and also games even before Medieval 2 and back in like the 90s also had voxel. Sacrifice has voxel terrain deformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't a new feature. We've had this technology for eons, even way before Minecraft. Like, this isn't new.
Yep. They're also talking about their art and authenticity. I'm like, okay, you know, I want to believe, Relic, that you give a shit. But at the same time, like they've added in the M9 bazooka in the Africa campaign. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that I thought was weird, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head if that was actually employed in Africa.
No, it entered service in 1944.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Yeah, they shouldn't have that bazooka. Yes, it's the iconic bazooka, but it should not be that. It should be the British thingy that they had. What do you call it? The derby thing.
It would be, it wouldn't even be Piats, really. It'd be boys' anti-tank rifles and shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, because they had the Africa, they only had the AT rifles then.
Pete was a piece of shit, anyways.
Yeah, listen, it looks cute. It just,
Plus, it might bring back
still
bad
sad.
memories of a certain kangaroo.
Not the kangaroo. Company heroes.
Ah, fucking kangaroo.
You like the kangaroo, don't lie. Admit
I
it.
don't like the kangaroo.
Like, the kangaroo's
I don't
kind of
think anyone
cute.
liked the kangaroo.
Kangaroo's cute. Just like, I'm a little kangaroo. Get inside. Bring a peat. Let's see what happens. Let's see.
COH3 is not in a particularly great spot. I'm very skeptical. Very, 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 very skeptical. To be fair, the gameplay feels pretty COH-y right now. Like, for what it is, for its basicness, for its overbright screen, for its fucking lack of zoom. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god. Yeah. So have we mentioned that? The camera.
No.
My camera feels like, my face feels like it's smudged against the sand. Like,
Yep.
can I pull my head back and like shove my head down there? Fucking Christ. Like, the camera is so zoomed in, it's annoying.
It is way too zoomed in, and there's no way to also adjust the speed at which you zoom, which is annoying, because I tried to zoom in, because like, maybe the modulus are cool. I have to just madly spin my scroll wheel to zoom in even a little bit. It's like, oh god. And all the just basic options that just don't exist in the game. Annoying. I think what they need to do to be like a little bit convincing here, game needs a beta. A long beta, like a soft launch multiplayer beta, practically, like a month ahead of release.
You need to convince people, because I don't think this was enough. Like, it's good. It's good that they're being open about the development. Relatively more than they were with Dawn of War 3. But they need to do a lot more here than what they're doing, because, like, it's like, oh, here's a beta demo, you can play it for a little bit, or here's this demo of this very short mission that's very basic. It's like, this mission is literally just an appetizer. Like, you need something meaty to really test stuff.
Oh, I have an opportunity to dunk on the chat, so I'm going to take it.
Okay.
So, Texas Asux says, ahem, the bazooka was there in 1942. Yes. The M1 bazooka.
Damn. Yeah, TexX, don't listen. Barge is a nerd. There's no point. Like, if he's gonna spurg about World War II stuff, I just don't even bother. It's like, yeah, sure, they use laser beams, whatever.
Yes, no. The M1 bazooka was introduced into service in 1942. That's the shitty version. That's the one they sent to like people in Korea that got overran by T-34s.
Those poor bastards. Yeah, that wouldn't work very well.
Yeah. The M1 was not great. It was functional. I mean, hey, and to be credit too, they came up with it before the Germans came with the Panzerschreck and stuff. But it wasn't very good. The M9 bazooka, however, much better. Reinforced tubing, fired a bigger projectile, better penetration, just straight up better in basically every single regard.
Also, Barch, we need to, and I agree with you, Lightest Night, we need to review the Resident Evil TV show. We need to. Barch, look at me. I guarantee you it'll be worth it. It's so bad. I haven't even seen it, and I already saw some clips. Don't fight it, Barch. Barch, we need to do it. We don't have any TV shows to review while we're waiting for the next season of whatever, the other Star Wars show to start.
No.
Chat, throw money at him and guilt him into it. I want to watch the Resident Evil TV show only because I want to see how bad it is. But I don't want to watch it by myself.
There was also the introduction of the M20 Super Bazooka. That one was really good.
Super Bazooka.
It was massive, and it wasn't really an infantry portable anti-tank weapon practically at that point anymore, but hey. It was one of those weapons that's like, yes, you're supposed to carry this, and you just look at it like, you sure? Yes, it says so in the manual. It's bigger than I am. Yes.
Can't believe
and such is life.
You're just a bazooka. You know that? A barzooka. Got him. A barzooka. Nah, it doesn't really work. We tried.
But yeah, nice long multiplayer beta, like a month before release. show that they're being responsive and that they're actually adding in stuff. They've got some decent balance, and they need to demonstrate that they've been able to put in the fucking assets. Again, like, yes, plugging in a sound asset isn't a huge deal, but you still need to fucking do it.
That's true. And the thing is, it's one thing to be like, okay, this is an alpha, prototype. All right, fair enough. But we've had a couple of these now. Like, surely by now it's time to make the thing that you actually show us be of the units that actually work in this goddamn game. Like, okay, let's show them how cool our game is, but let's only, let's use all the complete assets. And so we already have like a bunch of things that are missing things, which concerns me personally, because that means that if these things are missing and broken, and this is what they wanted to show us, then what didn't they want us to see? Like, how
Yes.
bad is it really?
If this is their best foot forward, what would their worst look like?
I dread to think about it.
Very, 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 very skeptical. Very skeptical. But we'll see. At least we won't have to wait too long to see.
We will see, and we'll be playing it when it comes out, Arch, and we'll be enjoying or suffering. I hope it's the first thing, the latter, where we enjoy it.
Kyle, I don't know if you're good enough to play Government of Heroes with me.
You whore. Every game we play together, we've curb stomped people.
Yeah, but I take COH seriously. Like, I humor your shittiness in other games, but...
Oh... You see, there's very few games Barch plays, and so he's really good at those few games. Versus me, who's good at everything and basically a god. I'm a god. What a grand and intoxicating innocence, Barch.
How about we play some more Warno with the nerfed Red Force again?
Are we waiting for the... Let's wait till the French come out. They're coming out next.
Well, let's wait for them to just finish their rebalancing completely, honestly.
Yeah,
because right now they're only rebalancing one side, and it's like, okay.
It's gonna be a little interesting. I did look at the French stuff, and I'm a little interested in that.
I'm looking forward to the reworks because I don't know, like Warno's balancing is interesting, and they're making all of the mistakes from Wargame Red Dragons. I'm hoping to see some big changes there. We'll see.
Yeah, because I really, really, really like Warno's pacing, but I really would like it to be not so volatile, where one day clusters will wipe out entire columns, and the next day, they do nothing. The extremity at which things are balanced makes me confused and scared inside.
Yep. We'll probably give it a go with the French update. Oh, Frenchies. All right, let's move on to the little super chatsies then. Let's see, Asmagan, oh, hello there, Asmagan, says, $50. Thank you very much, sir. That's very generous of you. Also, I'm going to get cancelled soon. I preemptively apologized for my spurgery. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. There's several Asmagan super chats here. Asmagan, don't donate too much money. It's another $100 super chat. Thank you very much, my dude, but take care of yourself first. Hey guys, sorry by the way, Kims, for earlier, and I hope you both are having an amazing day.
Why are you being sorry?
What did you do?
We were drunk yesterday in the drunk stream celebrating our 7K subscriber special. I don't remember really what happened, but people told me we said really dumb things that were funny. Asmagon, I do remember donated a generous amount of money. I don't really remember much beyond that.
So you were being mean.
I don't remember what happened yesterday. There's a possibility. I can't guarantee anything.
Well, I'm sure you'll get what you deserve, Kyle.
Listen,
in hell.
If I'm intoxicated, I can't be blamed.
You can, legally speaking. Popa Zot says, some of you have come to believe that I like war. I wish to dash these rumors. I do not like war. I love war. Through my life, I have discovered so many forms of war. That would be the colonel person from Helsing, or general, or officer, or whatever the fuck he was. It was a nice little song.
Love is war, maybe? Mm-hmm.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Baby, don't hurt me. No more. Barch is delicate.
Papa Zot, you get up in the morning, you get in your shitty car, and you see a rich CEO who works half as hard as you drive down the street in his Porsche. Class war. You make it to work and you find out that the annual drug test is today. Oh no.
That's bad.
No, it's okay. Goddamn, there's a whole line of these. Right. Let's do them piecemeal. More people than just Kyle have been drunk, apparently. Lord of the Opossum says, how are you feeling today, Kyle?
Pretty good. I have no hangover because Bubbles is the perfect mama hen, as Disco called him. I never have hangovers drinking. Never have, and I never will, at this rate.
Keeps memories of scary things, as that's again.
That's fair.
You did something, didn't you?
I don't remember. I remember things were funny. I remember things got very lewd at one point. I remember that people were throwing lots of money, and that's kind of it.
Right. I'll have to go report you later to the authorities.
Just look in the Bickering Bunch discussions. There's plenty of clips. I'm sure somebody found something to cancel me with there.
Remember, chat, mass flagging is morally wrong.
You're damn right, Barge.
Not if the Possum says favorite World War II game. I mean, ooh. I feel almost obliged to say COH1 because it's fucking good. Like, even today, Combat of Heroes 1 is good. It's a good video game.
See, that's an unfair question because there are so many World War II games. And, like, I feel like every genre deserves one. Because if RTSs, like, think about it. There's shooters. Like, the original Call of Duties were amazing. Also, the Medal of Honors were also amazing. And it's like, then you have the Company Heroes. Like, World War II, it just has so many good games. It's not fair. That's not a fair question. Get out.
But in reality, I probably have to say either Hearts of Iron 3 or Hearts of Iron 2. Because I have put an actually ungodly amount of hours into those. Just an actually genuinely ungodly amount of hours.
I see. Hearts of Iron is amazing because it did what I always wanted a game to do as a kid and let you operate an entire war from an entire country. That's pretty cool.
And 3, God, like the more I play 4, the more I'm like, I mean, this is a video game. And it has many cool features that I appreciate in a video game, and it's kind of addictive, especially with the cool-ass mods.
Yep.
But man, I miss 3. Like, 3 just had so much more soul, presentation-wise, color-wise, little things that popped up at the end of battle, like, you lost this many men. It just had so many more little things that I loved. Like, God, I want Hearts of Iron with the production system of 4 and the research system of 4 is pretty good too. The customization and the unit design, but everything else, 3. The map of 3, the air power of 3, you know?
Yeah, the planes and naval combat in 4, like, the ground wars in 4 are awesome. I really enjoy encirclements. Playing with friends in 4 is got to be one of the most fun things to do when you're working together, like against the Soviet front, if you're playing the Axis or like some other alliance you've made up, and you're working together to pull off huge encirclements. That's awesome. It's so satisfying. But when we talk about the air war in that game, the air war is only satisfying when you spam all your naval bombers in the British Channel to sink the British fleet, so you can naval invade them. And it's more so funny being like, look at how many British ships we sunk this time. That's so stupid. Oh, God.
Yeah. Naval combat in Hearts of Iron has always been
I hate the naval
dodgy.
combat. You designate like, oh yeah, this is the hood. It's in my flagship. It sank in the beginning of the war. You're like, where's my hood? I can't find it. It died ages ago. It's been at the bottom of Davy Jones' locker this whole time.
And since Hearts of Iron 4 removed all of the pop-up customization, you won't even know unless you can hear in the distance, ding-ding. That's the sign of your navy being in battle.
Yep.
Dumbass video game.
I would like a pop-up. I would like customizable pop-ups like your naval's engaged and click go to, and then it shows you the naval battle.
Yep.
More information.
I'm so pissed off they removed the customizable pop-ups. We don't like pop-ups because they're obtrusive, but I could turn off all the ones I wanted
It's
to.
an optional
No.
feature. Paradox, let's have options. Like, no.
It's not very paradoxy to have options.
You gotta pay for those as
Shit.
DLC. It's true.
It's true. Nope. Dryfee donates 100 Canadian dollars. Jesus Christ. Thank you very much, sir. People are generous today. And then says cheers. And then alcohol things. I will never. Oh, alcohol. That's going to cost you more than $100, baby. Getting Kyle drunk is easy. He's a cheap whore. I'm expensive.
Hey, I don't do it for money. Well, actually, no, that's false. I do it for money, but
Yeah,
I only do it. I only do it when I break 1,000 subs. Every time I break 1,000, another 1,000, it's an alcohol stream because it doesn't.
Well, that's what I mean, Kyle. Like, you get drunk with 1,000 people gangbanging
I'm
you.
tiny. And listen, Barge, we'll do it together. We'll bring around Mama Hen Bubs, and you'll wake up and you won't even have.
Like I said, Kyle, you're a whore. I'm an escort.
Listen, Bubs, or whatever your name is, Barge. You two are the same, by the way. Oh my God. Last night, Bubbles, I remember this. I remember Bubbles becoming Arch. And I knew it, and I was like, they're the same fucking person. You're both two peas in a pod. You do the same things. Bubbles tries to pretend he's different, but he just does what you do. Both are the same. How does it feel? He's your long lost brother. How do you feel about that?
Defiled. Plus, he's poor. He's no brother of mine.
Yeah, that's because you got rid of him. You deposed him.
Michael VPS says, Arch, you are disappointed with COH. Play Foxhole. We played a little bit of Foxhole. It was fun, but stupid.
We should do Foxhole again, but we should wait till there's more stuff. Because Foxhole is actually really fun, because a war starts as World War One, and then you get to late World War II tech in terms of like tanks, like anti-infantry equipment. Like I remember when the first side invents chemical weapons, the casualties are insane until you can finally invent gas masks from your side. Foxhole is really cool.
If you can be bothered to play the game for about 6 months, that is.
You need to see that for one thing, we should do like one war. Just do one proper war from the beginning to end.
Like I said, Kyle, you just need to rack up enough Blood Bowl 2 matches and all kinds of things can happen.
Or just like, listen, I'll suck your duck. I'll suck your duck. I'll suck your duck if you play Blood Bowl 2. He would, unironically.
Duck.
Yeah. I'm censoring. I accidentally censored myself.
Accidentally.
My phone's autocorrect feature is now affecting my brain. This is terrible. You're a duck.
Nekmada says, Smug Barch bad. Change to fluffy booby cat Arch. I will not relent. No. Big Titty Arch is wrong and disingenuous.
Big Titty Arch is your real persona. Don't lie.
Puppetut says, and you just so happened to take a puff of your one hitter a couple nights ago before dinner with your wife's awful parents. Drug war. You get up in the morning, get into your shitty car, and you see a rich CEO who works half as hard as you, drive down the street in sports class war. This is the same message, sent again. But then you find out the only ones being called in for testing are your black and Hispanic co-workers. A race war. Then you try to post about it on your Facebook, but then all your friends start arguing about what's right and what's wrong. Flame war. There's like 7 of these. But so you finally get home and you decide to relax by watching a program about who gets the box, what's in the box, how much is what's in the box worth, storage wars. What am I telling you? My Nazi army of 1,000 vampires is what I am purveyor of war. Actually, I do have a soft spot for Storage Wars because it's retarded. You just see a bunch of fat Americans go like, oi, this box will be worth more than that box. And then they yell at each other, and then they take their box stuff to people who's like, this is worth nothing, mate. And
this is worth nothing. That's so funny. You're a box wars.
But at the same time, they smile at the camera and it's like, you win some, you lose some, as they're being paid thousands of dollars by Discovery Channel to film this shit.
It's like, yeah, they're not losing any money.
Like it's that stupid show of the British person who drives around Britain and Brits at people like oink oink. And he has a hat and he has a little dude that drives in the boxcar with him. And they drive like hundreds of miles every episode. And they buy like two things from some dusty old fucking storage bin from some buck-toothed aristocrat who sells them a fucking old table. Oh yeah, me grandfather's slaves made these in the 1900s. And they sell it for a ridiculous price to other buck-toothed noble who's like, classic.
Oh, yes, a classic.
But they're not making money on that. Like, they've driven for hundreds of miles. Like, the gas price alone, and he pays his little butt buddy to be his Kyle sitting next to him.
Wow.
They're not making money, but Discovery is filming all of this and paying them through the arse. Like, the dude owns like 5 shops now. He used to own one, and then Discovery's like, we would like to pay you an infinite amount of money. All of these reality shows the same, like the ones that they fix up cars. I remember one of those, one of the first ones, because there was this tiny shitty little garage, and it was dirty and filthy, and they had no equipment. Like they were jacking up cars with fucking cinder blocks. 3 seasons later, the entire thing is like NASA, and like everything is automated. They've got enormous jack things. Like, how did you get this money? And they're still whining, like, oh, we're about to go under.
We're about to go in. Well, maybe if you didn't spend it all on those absurd pieces of like multi-million-dollar equipment. So, oh yeah, but I thought the money train would keep flowing.
The problem is they're lying to you. It's like the same with Deadliest Catch is another guilty pleasure of mine because I just enjoy people being cold and miserable. And every time there's a little bit of waves, and they're like, my God, the boat's about to flip over. The boat's not about to flip over. I wish the boat was about to flip over, but it isn't about to flip over.
Like, and it cuts, it's like, dun, 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 and it shows like a bunch of waves from a camera from another boat that's following the other boat.
Yep. As there's a fucking fleet surrounding it of like 3 vessels, like, if the boat goes under, we're all dead.
We're all dead. No, it's coming
3 follow ships won't catch us. They really hate us, you see. They'll just let them die.
They just film them drowning, like, oh, it really sucks that nobody came out here to save me.
As he's unfortunate.
As he's floating. I wonder how long it'll be till rescue arrives. Eats a Snickers bar that they hand him. Oh, thanks.
It's silly. It reminds me of those very early survival shows where it's the exact same thing. Some dude's out in the wilderness like, I'm about to perish. And then they just cut like, right, lunch is over there.
Lunch break. Yep, pretty much. There was actually...
It's like Bear Grylls is the drinking his pee 5 feet away from a buffet car.
Bear Grylls was the fake one. I think it was Survivor Man was the guy who actually films it himself. Because he complained about that. Because he's like, yeah, so what about the camera crews? He's like, I don't have any camera crews. So when you're walking down a hill, he's like, I have to go back and grab the camera.
Yep. Respect for that guy who has to walk forward 30 meters, put down the camera, walk back,
and then do it again. And he has to keep doing that, where he just like sets the camera up. He's like, yeah, to get some of those cool shots, I have to climb in really weird places. Set up the camera, walk up that mountain, turn around, walk back down, go pick it up.
Yep. Yeah. That was pretty cool too. See, we should just review reality shows. That'd be the best thing to do.
Listen, we're not covering just video games no more. It's entertainment, and that's all entertainment.
See, you can absolutely do some seasons of the Deadliest Catch when they're doing this, and it's like, oh my God, beep, beep, beep. My God, the entire boat's about to explode. What's happened? A wire has torn out in one of the engines. And all of the tards are like, we're going to have to go back to port. It's going to take a week. Why? Didn't bring any spares.
Didn't bring any spares. Sad.
Every time it's some stupid ass, tiny ass fucking piece of shit part that breaks. And they're like, yeah, didn't bring any. You'd think they'd learn their lesson at some point, but no. I guess it makes better television at that point.
Like, I feel like the boat's big enough that it could have some spare parts just in case, these things happen.
Conveniently, there's often a ship nearby too who's like, oh, that spare part. Yeah, no, I have that on board. We need to do something stupid and dangerous to get it. Oh, well. I mean, fine.
Is this a fetch quest?
Yes.
Looks above the guy's head, an exclamation point. Uh-huh. This is a bit gamified.
Christ. Let's continue on this. Puppetsutter, and with your help over the years, we're now on the precipice of a true goal, you see. I want a simple war. No class war, no drug war, no race war, no flame war, and certainly no Cold Wars, blue ball for 40 years. What I want is a war that only we can bring. A true war, a German war, the sequel you've all been waiting for. Want World War III. It won't be German war, though. Germany's a pussy nation now.
Germans, I don't know, they're rearming. They're getting ready for another. I'm right. All the Germans in chat are like, shh. Paul's like, what are you doing, Germany? Are you coming to help me against Russia? You're like, yeah. Yeah. Panzan is German, yeah. Like, no.
See, Lark says, could we ever see anyone like What If Alt Hist on as a guest to talk about the current world and the history of the world? He's an outstanding creator. In that case, probably no.
Oh, he's outstanding? Probably no. Oh, that's funny. I like how you just crushed his hopes like that. A bit brutal.
Well, see, that's the thing. If he's big, he's just going to ignore us anyways. Simple as.
Yep. We need to get bigger. That means you need to go out there and you need to shill and promote us for us because we're too fat and lazy to do that.
Those are some really awful thumbnails, but hey, they work clearly.
Sometimes people's thumbnail games aren't good. I mean, look at V's channel. His thumbnail game is pain. Like actual pain.
He's been doing this for a while, like 7 years, so he's been grinding for a while. These are some really bad thumbnails, though. My Jesus.
Show me.
No.
Barch. I'll do it.
What if Japan invaded the Soviet Union in World War II? Japan would be Korean Pied. Done deal.
Yeah, right now? Yeah. They need to build up their army a bit more. They also need to wait for China to destabilize. That was kind of how Japan actually took advantage of China. China was on rocky grounds and was divided. Much like, you know, the whole divide and conquer thing that Caesar was about. Japan was able to execute in China.
Hopes deleted. Yep.
Sadness.
Mark James says AAA companies should just abandon World War II altogether. Maybe that would be for the best.
See, I like World War II games, but at the same time, I also remember a point in my life when everything was a World War II game. There was a while where that was the thing, you remember? It's like, yep. Oh my god, another World War II game. Please fucking kill me. And then we got Modern Warfare. And it was like, wow, breath of fresh air. And then everything was Modern Warfare. And we're like, I'm sick of it.
Yep.
Or the zombie craze. And now it's like you get a zombie game, like, ooh, a zombie game. But there was a point when I was like, oh my god, another fucking zombie game.
Yep.
Because trends and fads, a lot of developers follow them, especially in the AAA side of things.
Right now, we're in the indie phase of things, where you have many dumbass games popping up on Steams.
Very random things where you're like, what? You build it, it's a top-down game where you just play with conveyor belts? What the fuck? That's Factorio?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to have to look into this a bit more, because Factorio increased their price in Russia to the equivalent of like $700 or something. And nobody seems to know if that was a mistake or not yet. And we'll wait and see, because they haven't made any announcement about it. Because I would have to condemn that, because that's a very stupid thing. Because that's a thing that affects Russians, not Russia.
Yep.
There's a difference between the two.
The thing is, people often are quick to start condemning an entire people for their leader. It's like, yeah, but they need to rise up and get themselves gunned down. Okay, all right, mister, you want them to die on a hill for you. How about you go over there and get gunned down? Huh? No, you don't want to? Shut the fuck up and sit down. I always hate people like that.
If you start victimizing Russians for the actions of their government, what do you think their response will be? Do you think the response will be to throw themselves on the barricades or simply just, form walls around their leaders?
Yep, because now they know that we're hostile. So
Yes.
what we do is we validate their leaders, and now we
Yes.
become the very thing that their leaders claim we are.
Yes. Putin says the West is out to get Russians, and then the West goes out to get Russians. Like, okay, well.
You've just made Putin's job easier, and we've failed collectively as a society. Congratulations.
It is not a smart thing. Oh, by the way, Kyle, there's a Deadliest Catch video game, and I think you're gonna have to play that now.
Oh my god, is that like... That better be like console... doesn't matter, I have consoles, fuck.
The recent reviews, mostly negative. Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna have to
Thank
play this
God.
game now.
Oh, my boat, a fucking wire broke. Gotta return home. We gotta like do like a QTE to get back. X, X, Y, you fail and the boat just sinks. Ooh.
I hope so.
That sounds so stupid. Is that on Steve? No fucking
Regional
way.
price differences.
Too bad. Deadliest Catch the game. That's mostly negative and it came out in 2020. They still make this show?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I can't send
dead.
it to him. It's regional price difference chat. I'm sorry. I tried.
Oh
I did
my god.
best. Sheep
Find the
Toucan.
best spot
You should pick it up.
and get your catch.
What the fuck is that? Is that meme cat? Screenshot number 6. Look at the cup.
It's a cat.
That's kind of adorable.
It's a bit special.
Right. Slight aside. Lucian says, as an admitted CA GW pay pig, I can tell you never underestimate what lows the pursuit of vice will bring. I look forward to tuning in tomorrow.
You little traitor! Chat, get the castration rocks. Like, okay.
There might have to be some violence.
Just a little.
But such is life. Marked ashamed. Narrative White Crusader brought war to the Islamic world. Forge forgot about the conquest of Mecca. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, our lands were peaceful before the metal beasts arrived. The metal fucking
Like,
beasts.
excuse me? Point to any place on this damn fucking sphere. It was peaceful. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Jackson Kai. Why make a good game when enough bloom, lighting, and brightness will prevent anyone seeing how terrible it is? Someone at EA, probably. Probably.
I mean, that's one way to cover up for the fact that I think the textures in the game don't look that good. I think that's why things are so bright. It's to cover up how actually bad the visuals are.
The textures are not good. Like it does not have that visual appeal of COH 1 or 2. Like it looks fuzzy. Like they boosted the bloom and the fuzziness specifically so you couldn't really see. Skeptical.
A bit bullshitty, to say the least.
Mark James says launch equals beta. Probably. Tragically, but probably, yes. Popatsut, pretty sure something went derpy in my end, but I hope it was worth a giggle at least. You two keep doing you. Yes. It was a nice long dump of things. Thank you. You have been entertaining. This is good. When chat entertains chat for you. Yeah.
That means their job.
Lord of the Possum says, this is why we don't pre-order. Correct. Except people like me, who's like, well, this is technically my job. Picks it up. Sends it to Kyle like he hates these things. Give it to him.
That'd be terrible.
I still remember, like, one random day, kind of like, I'm playing COH2. I'm like, oh, I like that game. Let's play. And Old Dog is there and we play. And it's me and Old Dog on the same team versus Kyle and like 2 other people. And I'm playing and I'm like... Kyle, are you playing the video game? Like, I'm trying. Seriously.
Company
It was
Heroes. See, the thing
disgusting.
is, I've never played PvP in Company Heroes 2 because we tried that, and because we tried to play Company Heroes 2, like after the American expansion had come out. So the player base skill gap for people who actually play multiplayer regularly and those who just want to play or played like a comp stomp or two, the skill gap is so massive. That's one of the problems with that game. Like it was impossible for me to ever catch up because every multiplayer game was like just getting face palmed every time.
Yep. I actually remember the feeling of sitting there and playing, and it's like, does he just not know how to play?
It's one of those things where it's you can do the orders, but if you don't know the key, the first thing is key bindings. If you know the key bindings, that'll help you massively. The second thing is just knowing when to counter what at what interval, and what is like the optimal build to do. Like what's the first thing you build? What's the first capture points you go for? Stuff like that. When is the prime time to poke at the enemy? When is not?
The game ended in a very casual base camp.
It did. We held our little base as we were bombarded with mortar shells. It was very sad.
Maranga 2, what a grand and intoxicating innocence. Banned.
What a grand and intoxicating innocence. I'm a god.
Carl sent me that. I don't think it was that funny. I think Carl deserves to be beaten for it, honestly.
How can you kill a god? In this case, how can you kill a keeb? It's true.
With a stick.
With a stick. What a grand and intoxicating innocence.
Peter, just saying hello, Arch. Chilling with the stream on a Saturday night. Good. Saturday nights are for relaxing inside, not for going outside. If you go outside on Saturdays, you'll die and go to hell.
Yep, and burn.
Yep,
Now.
that too. Might seem a bit harsh, but, well, you go to hell for masturbating, so,
That's true.
it's par for the core. That's Regiment is coming out soonish, too. That's another game that needs to be played, and I have no hope for whatsoever, frankly.
Regiments feels like it's just too watered down.
Regiment feels like somebody trying to smash together Wargame and A World in Conflict and failed to capture the appeal of either.
Yeah, it very much does feel like that. It just doesn't click.
It'll be worth a little test here and there. I think so, yeah. Regiment. Oh wait, have they pushed it back? Oh, now it's just planned release date 2022. Okay.
They're like, we're not gonna make it, beef. We're gonna die, which is fair. They are gonna die.
Probably. Oh, it's a Microprose publisher game. Microprose is a very interesting situation right now. They've had a lot of very ambitious titles who I don't think have worked out that well. We do need to revisit Carrier Command at some point as well, because apparently it's gotten better. And that game had a lot of cool ideas that just weren't really, there.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Because I really like the idea of the 4-player co-op carrier command. Like, we're operating different drones on a carrier and trying to, like, attack and compete with another carrier to take and secure islands. It's a really, really interesting, idea. Problem with the game is it was really boring.
Yes. And it didn't feel like you were piling carrier. Like, there's enormous retardo waves everywhere, and it's just like, meh.
Meh. Bart's just rolls over, and he's like, whatever.
That game is going to have to be revisited at some point, because they have improved upon it. Maybe it's fun now. I hope it's fun now. High Fleet was really... Have you played High Fleet?
Yeah, High Fleet's pretty cool. Like
it is, but it's also weird. A painful video game to play.
Yeah, listen. It's not about you having fun, okay? You silly Willy. It's about you.
I am looking forward to what the creator will do next, though, because High Fleet is really cool, but it's also a game that I don't think I'll ever play again, because I played it and it's like, this game is it's cutting down my life. Like, I can feel the stress chipping away at my soul.
They make a lot of weird, like, retro flight games Microprose does. Have you seen Flying Fortress?
Yeah, that's a recreation of a thing.
Because it looks
remaster
kind of
kind of.
modern from like how games like that operated visually back in the day. But it's trying to be old.
Yeah, it was a recreation of an old game, actually. Pretty sure. It's some weird stuff. Some weird stuff. Where was I? I was doing something. I'm pretty sure I was doing something. Ah, yes. Mark to Shame says the best pilot isn't an engineer, and the best engineer isn't a pilot. For game design, it is a good practice to listen to the pros for feedback, but don't do what they suggest. Just take it as a barometer. Not a bad idea. It's a good idea, in fact. You should also treat pro gamers with a certain degree of disdain and hostility. Popatut, well, I'm stranded at work, so I'll entertain myself by annoying Arch with a chunk of my paycheck. If you would be so kind to read this excerpt. Ah, that was what the massive amount of Streamlabs things was. I was a bit confused there for a while.
Well, we have
Hero 45. Arch, try Swarm the City. Zombie Evolved. A reverse, they are billion games. You are the zombies infecting the humans. Only started playing it, but I'm having fun. I have been looking at that. I might. I very well might. I may. I may. I might.
He just might.
Lord of the Possums says, I like the sizzling sounds made by the Japanese in COD, World of War, when he uses flamethrower.
Call of Duty World at War. That was a good one. Very violent. That one had like you could blow people's like limbs off. It was the last World War II one they made for a while, and it had like guys burning alive, being tortured, and stuff like that. Like it was pretty visceral. And then they sort of just that was followed by Modern Warfare, which stopped doing the gore and blood stuff, which I thought was dumb because I liked the gratuitous violence.
You're a sadist, Kib, and he will not be forgiven.
Don't lie to me, Arch. You like it too. Like, come on. Like the kill sync animations. No, you're the same. You're the same. True.
Chris E says, do you think we will ever get some good VR RTS? No.
VR and RTS is just, it doesn't make use of the VR systems very well. Like, I'll be honest.
It'll be very difficult. Extremely difficult.
A better sort of VR game is like generally things that interact with first person. Like a tank crew game would be cool to play. Some sort of bridge crew game where you're on a bridge. Like things like that where you can interact with things. Or like a first-person shooter, or maybe like a fantasy game. You need to make use of the VR's like form and medium, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. It's not impossible. Like you could absolutely make a game in the style of a board game where you like move little counters around the map and shit in almost Hearts of Irony style. That could be pretty cool, but it would be weird to play it in VR. And odds are, it would probably just play better in not VR.
Yep, because if you allow players with mouse and keyboard, generally they're going to win just because of VR controls. At least from the VR stuff that I've interacted with, I just think that a mouse and keyboard in an RTS setting is just going to be better, flat out.
Then again, VR porn strategy games will be a niche genre, which will be far more interesting.
It's like, oh, I defeated you. Well, I might as well fuck you. It's like, okay. Okay.
Mark Shame says, Battlefield 1942 Secret Weapons Expansion. Put jetpack troops in COH 3. That will fix it. The Secret Weapons expansion was kind of adorable. It was kind of adorable. Battlefield 1942. The good old days of naivete when you played games and they looked like potato, but they were just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the good old days. We need to go back, Cube.
We need to go back in time. We just start turning into low polygon sprites models. It's like, ugh.
Everyone was like, my God, imagine how amazing games will be in 20 years' time.
In a way, some of them are, but it's often the ones you wouldn't expect and you would not have thought when you were young. You're like, look at Valheim, it's so pretty because it uses low polygons and stuff like that. It's like we're starting to look back and be like, maybe we need to go back after all.
Yes, like I said, need to go
Reduce the
back.
polygons.
Or just finally get back to making better impressive graphics. Like, we've just stopped doing that. Nobody's revolutionizing graphics anymore.
No, don't worry. The console wars are still doing that. You're like, make graphics.
Well, that's the problem. The consoles are holding the PCs back.
Yeah, because they control a lot of the games. But what's good is that because consoles have finally caught up to PCs as basically being primitive PCs, we are now seeing the end of exclusivity, which is the first good thing that has actually come up in the new modern era.
End of exclusivity. Yep, you hamster.
The age of exclusives is over. The age of the PC is now.
Todd says Mon Monster torture Barton kills with the Netflix RE cancer. I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's a terrible idea. Resident Evil is a video game.
It is a charmingly sweet video game in terms of like the Japanese influences, and terrifying, some of them. But we should cover it. It would be funny. I think it would just be funny. Funny bad. Come on, don't be a pooty pooper. You know you want to. Chat, you know you want Resident Evil. They're just sitting there wiggling a little. A little.
None of them want it.
Chat, what you need to do is you need to put your money where your mouth is. Barch will cave. He's weak, pathetic, and blonde. Never forget that.
Lance Johnson says the trailer is deeply insulting. It should be. Like, where are the people who fought World War II? Well, they're somewhere, probably. But hey, look at this blue cloth thing. Isn't it wonderful? It smells of desert.
It smells like sand. Got a little bit of sand in my nose. The merchant's like, okay, please leave.
I think it is a dumb world, and I think we are cursed for having to live in it.
Yep.
Lord of the Possum says favorite World War II tank, the Bob Semple.
Nah, the Bob Semple thing. That's a good one. That's a cute one. The M3 Lee, though.
Bob Semple is pretty fucking adorable. No, the M3 Lee is cute, but it's not Bob Semple cute.
I know, but it's so cute. It's like, I'm a little bunker with the treads, and people inside are like, I want to be inside of this. I want to die, but I want to die
it's
quickly.
Still not as cute as the Bob Semple.
I just like the M3 Lee. I think it's cute. The T28E also earns a second place for a cute tank.
That's what they fucking annoyed me. In that Company of Heroes 3 thing that they do with the developers, like, hello, I'm some person you don't know who is, and I'm here to tell you about this thing that you don't care about. Escape. One of them was like, in this game, you'll get to play with the Panzer III tank. The Panzer tank.
The Panzer.
The Panzer tank.
Yeah, we'll get to play with that.
The Panzer tank. Ah. Triggers. Many triggers. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Sure, YouTube. There you go. People watching this in retrospect. No, would be a good time. No. I'm here to tell you how to make delicious chicken. Jackson Kai, this is for Arch to review more bad American reality shows. Well, there you go, Kyle. We'll be we'll be reviewing something, but it'll be The Deadliest Catch, not Resident Evil.
You fools!
No, 90 Day Fiancé. That's what we can review. My fucking mother is obsessed with that show, and I get why, because it's the thrill of watching a train crash in slow motion.
True.
It's lovely. Like, you see some dude from Africa. He's built like a fucking brick shit house. He's genuinely handsome, and he's standing next to this 500-pound obese American monstrosity, and they're like, "We're in love." Oh yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't think about it.
I love your green card, baby. What?
Fair enough.
It gets even funnier when they do the follow-up, like after the fiance, like after the 90 days. And the black dude's just started frequently beating his overweight wife and has moved out of the house and is just now living free on her green card. Like, and she's crying, I feel like he used me. Like, dun, dun, dun.
Womp, womp, womp. Yeah, true.
That would be something worth reviewing right there. It's the same thing, too, when you have fucking a white dude. Oh, God. One episode she made me watch. Well, I was intrigued halfway through. Oh God, this is this is a beautiful picture. This is sterling. Right, Kyle, here you go. This looks like a natural couple, doesn't it? Show that to the audience. I'm sure they'll love it.
Let us see. That, I mean, love is blind. Love is mysterious. You know what I'm saying? Walks out
Love
of the
is
room.
exceptionally blind in this case.
It's like, listen, I got a lot of money. She likes money. You know what? We're made for each other. You know what? Good for you. It's consensual. So, there's that.
Meanwhile, the woman from the Filipino slum is like, it's a bit weird that he doesn't have a neck, but I'm willing to put up with it.
I love my little munchkin, my necklace munchkin. Hell, I have no neck. When I turn my head, I have to turn my torso too. Rotates. I love the idea that he has.
This is what we'll be reviewing.
Honey, what's that over your shoulder? Starts fucking turning his body. Oh my God.
Step.
I want to go behind him and just like tap him on the shoulder, and he's like, has to like stop turning and look like, oh, I don't see nothing. That's so sad.
Oh, that's terrible.
We'll get you a genie.
See, chat's enjoying it too. Chat's having fun. Oh, Christ. Dry fee worked on the ocean before. Nothing like being called miserable lets you know you're alive. Haha. That's true, so long as I don't have to do it. I've had one job in my life where I had to be outside doing construction work in the middle of winter, and never again. Like, it physically hurts. Like, you're picking up tools and you're just like, my hands are in pain. I do not want to do this anymore. You're out there, you're shoveling. We have a special term for this, schlud. When you have 50% rain, 50% snow. Like, it's awful. Oh, somebody else can do those jobs. It's fine. This is for what immigration is used for. Lord of the Possum says, after Germany pushed out Britain from Europe, what should have been their next move? Invading America.
That would have been funny. So we may not have the flotilla to support this invasion, but we're doing it.
With complete control of Europe, they could potentially have built a fleet to rival the Americans if given enough time, I guess. But
by then the Americans would also be building up. So I think what would have happened in that alt history is there would be a Cold War between the U.S. and Europe.
Yeah, because it's nice to play Hearts of Iron as America just every now and then to remind you of the fucking ridiculous industrial capacity of the US.
Yeah.
It's like Task Force 58 at the zenith of its power, I think had something like 16 fast carriers. Like, it's dumb. It could put over 1,000 aircrafts into the air. It's just like, yep. That's retarded.
It could blot out the sun with planes.
Literally. Oh, here we go. 17 carriers, 6 battleships, 13 cruisers, 58 destroyers, 1,100 aircraft. That was in December 1944.
Yeah, it would curb stomp any other navy into the ground.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's just actually retarded. Like, it got to the point where the Americans were just bombing land bases because they're like, what can the Japanese do? Send aircraft at us?
That's true.
This literally was. The Japanese were like, yeah, I mean, we could send up like 100 planes.
We only have 15 left, sir. Oh.
That was the problem, yeah. Giga Can't say that word on YouTube. Collab with Critical Drinker. Listen here. You need to suggest some more realistic options, okay?
Smaller,
Like,
tinier.
yes. When we're starting to near, like, what's the Critical Drinker? Oh, there you go. Yeah. Last time I looked at him, he was already pretty huge, like 400,000. Now he's 1.2 million. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll need to at least have like half a mil.
Now, to be fair, I know he's good buddies with Moeller in that crowd, so maybe if I can really tongue some ass, maybe, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
All right, Arch, get to it. You know, like, okay. I'm gonna start here, chat. I'm gonna loop the Dawn of War kill animations for you. You're gonna like that a little bit more. You're looking at that dude with the no neck. Some people were very distraught about it.
Just ask the Critical Drinker if he wants to collab. There you go. And if he says yes, then we have him on a technicality, okay?
Yep.
He'll just be like, who?
Who?
Lord of the Possums. It is peaceful in Antarctica. It probably is. Except when the polar bear shows up. Mercenary X21, Antarctic, where the dinosaurs and lizard people are. Dinosaurs. Lord of the Possums. The Arctic was once peaceful until the Norwegians found The Thing. Ah, The Thing. The movie from the last century. Millennia, actually. Chuck the Stick Dude. In trailer of COH through, it's a Jewish 17-year-old woman. They're telling about that on PC Gamer Channel in exclusive Combat of Heroes 3 North African Operation Reveal trailer. It's a Jewish woman in Libya. Excuse me?
What?
Now, I do know that there was, oh, they're trying to draw it in with, like, the Holocaust in Libya, aren't they? That's what they're gonna try and do. Because there was, I mean, the Holocaust was everywhere the Germans went, but there was, like, a tiny, and we're talking, like, 0 point something % Jewish population in Libya as well. Alright, well, that'll be great. It's like, oh, did you know the Jews were persecuted during the Second World War? Yes, shut up. I know, okay? I get it. This is a game about World War II. Let me just shoot things, please.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of the... Listen, we know the Germans did that. We know they're bad. We get it. But can we just play a game? Can we just play a game where the Germans fight the Americans, and the Americans fight the Germans, and the Italians fight the British, and the British fight the Italians? Like, I don't care. I don't care. I just want to play a game where people shoot at each other.
It's been like what, 70 years. It's okay. We're over it now. It's fine.
Like, most people who have endured it are fortunately, going on to meet their gods. So no one will don't have to hear about it anymore.
Granted, if tastefully done, it can still be very impactful and cool, but it's not going to be tastefully done. It's going to be in like that last Call of Duty game where they introduce you to a fucking scene from Mordor with just these empty prison camp houses, and the wind is rustling in the curtains, and you're expected to just you're tied to walk in so you can look around like, my God, how could humans do this? It's like, yes, I know.
Humans have been committing acts of genocide since, the minute we started existing, honestly. Like, we do that. We've done that. The Romans did that.
It was impactful the first time. It's been done too many times now. Oh. By the way, in similar news, kinda, the walrus Freya in Norway that has been made a habit out of sinking boats is currently moving towards Oslo, where she will presumably sink more boats.
Nice.
There you go. A little bit of an update for you about the fat walrus. Stephen Mest, 1991. Do you have any suggestions for Stavanger going for a visit soon? Don't.
There's a suggestion.
There you go. Done. Oh, to be fair, Stavanger, I mean, it's not Drammen, it's not Trondheim, so, you could have picked worse places. You can go to the Troll Tongues in Stavanger, isn't it? You should definitely do that. You have to climb a mountain for a while, and that's going to suck. But then you'll be really high up, and you can be like, oh, cool, look at this. That'll be fun. You can get married up there if you want to. You know, it's not a service. Like, we don't offer wives, but you know, it's a possibility.
Do you want to get married up there, Bart? She's like, mm-hmm.
We also made like giant rock swords, so you can go look at those. Those are kind of kawaii. They're not as big as you'd think they'd be, but they're kind of cool. There's also that. Have you seen pictures of that rock? Like, there's a rock perfectly squeezed in between two clips, and it's just hanging there, but it's just a loose rock.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yep, that one's fun too. But Stavanger's not the worst city. Like, it'll be ridiculously expensive, and you know, you'll be looked at weirdly. But such is life. It'll be cold. It'll rain all the time. Such is life. Bog, what are your thoughts on the live-action Yu Yu Hakusho adoption by Netflix? Beyond it's going to be garbage, please. It's going to be garbage.
Just a little garbage, though, right?
No.
No.
That embarrassing silence at the end there was just to further hammer home the point. It's live action. It's gonna be shit. I don't need to know anymore.
Or just like, you don't want to hear it.
Literally. Like, it's gonna be Cowboy Bebop.
Oof.
Mark James says, make Arch and Kibbs and VTuber guest watch Resident Evil. Remember, chat is not your friends and wants to watch you suffer. They do. But they do not have, they don't have the gravitas. Heretic 13, Wolfpack is a World War I sub-sim. Might be something you would be interested in, Arch, and you can order Kibbs around even more. Is there World War I sim? I thought it was... Huh. I've looked at it. It looks kind of cool, but it's a game where you actually have to know what you're doing, and that's going to be a pain in the ass.
Only a little bit.
Because I'm going to have to relearn how to do shit. There was a point during the highlights of like Silent Hunter 3 where I actually could work out like torpedo solutions on a fucking piece of paper.
Oh my god.
I got very autistic.
But
that's been a while.
You can always go, hey man, if you're there once, you can do it again.
No, it is World War II. Like, it could be fun, but Jesus Christ, like, we're gonna have to actually, you know, put in the effort to figure out how to do stuff. And Jesus, I just don't know if it would. I don't know if it would work. That's yeah. I don't know if it would work. It's tempting though. It's something we should do. Like after Barotrauma, we can do this because then by then we know how a submarine works, right?
Yep.
Right?
We'll be like pressure bad, okay?
Yes. At that point, I think we will be able to take anything Wolfpack can throw at us.
We'll see about that, boy.
Scarfy the Strange says, we need another Eternal Darkness game. We also need to get Kibbs to play Paraworld. Paraworld?
That's a dinosaur game, I think.
Well.
I don't even know what Paraworld is.
Good for you, I guess.
Is that the Pokemon game with machine guns?
No, that's Palworld.
Okay.
Well, that looks derpy, but such is life.
Fair enough.
Gina Mercurialis. Waiting for Kibbs to interject.
A certain new friend of ours. You might... how to word that? A familiar friend, we'll say that much. A friend you should definitely check out. A friend that has been around before. A friend that deserves your attention. It's true.
A mercurial friend that exists in a strange quantum state of known and unknown.
Yep. Says,
I've spent too much money on Superchats today because of V. Sup, nerds?
Stop spending money on supers, guinea pig. You're not allowed to do that. You have to save money.
Definitely not on V. Like, V can't help you.
And okay? Where's my guinea pig bucks? Yeah, you call me guinea pig. I'm not giving you bucks.
That's a good argument.
You're my little guinea pig.
I'm sure Genie will be an excellent addition to the Wolfpack crew. Driven subnautical, aeronautical something her too. We'll give her control of the depth measurement. I'm sure it'll be
Listen,
just
chat.
great.
We can't say what we know, but those who know can say whatever they want. We can't control chat. If chat wants to say things that have beans that fall out of cans, they can do whatever they want. Put one and two together.
Beans that fall out of cans.
I'm being very
You're being retarded, Kyle. Stop
elusive,
it.
but also saying that chat can say that Guinea is God. But we can't say that Guinea is God.
Kyle, is your brain okay?
We don't really know who God is, but chat does.
Answer to that is no.
Guinea Pig says, call me Guinea Pig.
Lord of the Possum says, no neck guy put mayo in his hair to make it shiny. This is why we should be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé. I wanted to find a picture of the very fat woman and the tiny black man. That was kind of amusing. Scarfy the Strange, why does Hollywood like to portray blacks all over medieval Europe but never touch medieval Africa? I wonder why. All I'm saying is, if I ever get enough money to actually make a proper TV show about Shaka Zulu, there's going to be a white dude there. Nobody's ever going to mention why. Nobody's going to make a single comment on him. But there's just going to be a semi-naked ginger white dude. And he's just going to be alongside the impies doing all of the usual things. Nobody's going to treat him any different. He's just going to be there. Shadow Fox 20D00 says, Arch, trust me, that's not too bad. I'd spent 30 days out in the field for field exercise and it rained most of the days. Well, that's because you're silly and you volunteered to be tortured. Dumb, Shadow Fox. Dumb.
Damn.
Plus, you're like in the artillery. You picked the wrong place. He's probably a towed gun operator, isn't he? That's what we call Darwinism right there. Like, I'll be outside. No, you can be in one of the ones with roofs. It's fine. They have roofs now.
True.
It's true. They do have roofs now. Scarfy the Strange. Remember when history focused on people who did things instead of people having things done to them? That's a good point too. Yes. Remember when the History Channel had history shows on it instead of Ice Road Truckers and Storage Wars?
No. I don't remember. No, kidding. I kind of do.
Ice Road Truckers is a very, very stupid show. I don't like it. It's one of those dumb shows where they do dumb shit. They're driving on road, literally polished, without chains. And I was like, you're a tard, and anything that happens to you is deserved. You smash through the fucking ice and freeze to death, I'm a clap. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. It's like fucking Kyle driving on frozen roads with summer tires. It's just dumb. And anything bad that happens, deserved.
Driving summer roads and what tires?
You're driving with non-spiked tires.
And snow tires.
Yeah, those aren't snow tires, Kyle.
Yeah, snow tires.
If they're not spiked, they're summer tires.
Also, Guinea Pig, give me your new YouTube channel. Because you're typing with your guinea pig name now.
You're typing with your guinea pig name now.
Send it to me in DMs.
You should.
Right now.
If your tires aren't spiked, they're summer tires. Lord of the Possum says, communism did more harm in this world than Hitler. Yes, objectively true. Dry fee for 200 Canadian dollars. Jesus, you already donated 100. Man, thank you very much, sir. You are incredibly generous. I will put your money to good use for things, snacks, and happiness. Rolling the full laughing mark. For you, it was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. Gomez Adams. True. True. God, the Street Fighter movie was really bad, but Bison was so fucking good.
That's because he didn't give it at all because it was for his kids. That's why I did it.
Yes, he did it for his kids.
Pretty base dad.
But the thing is, like, he really fucking put in some effort too. Like, he did. And he was, there was so many memeable fucking scenes from that scene. God, it was good. The movie was absolutely atrocious, but Bison was fucking fantastic in that one. We should watch the Street Fighter movie.
There,
Listen
I
to that
posted
silence.
Guinea Pig's channel. There it is. Guinea Pig will one day make stuff. If you remember who Guinea Pig was a guinea pig for, you know what I mean? You can find him. Subscribe now and ignore Guinea Pig's protest. The lady doth protest too much. Listen. Guinea Pig is whatever I tell Guinea Pig's a shapeshifter now. Guinea Pig could be anything. Yes.
That's casual cruelty. Scarfy the Strange. World is that dinosaur steampunk RTS game. Well, there you go, Kyle. That's what it is. A Mark Ashamed, not a white dude in Shaka Zulu's show a Chinese dude to get the sweet SCCP market. Maybe, he'll be friends with the Chinese dude, and they'll both just be side by side in every shot or something. Maybe they can be the comedy relief. Whenever Shaka is doing something weird, like the camera just zooms to them, and they'll make some inane, retarded comment. No, better yet, they'll be like Zoomer Americans or something. Yes, that'll be fantastic. Like, Shaka will kill his wife, and they'll do, bro. Maybe they'll communicate purely in retarded lingo from the early 90s. Yes, I think this could be funny. Maybe if one of them could be Kyle. Kyle is small, petite, and white.
I'm probably taller than you. How tall are you, Barch? In feet?
In feet. An infinite amount of feet.
You're like 4 feet, and that's how tall Barch is. Barch is like
Tragically, I measure things in math, not body parts.
Don't be a weirdo. Accept my superior measurement.
Kyle,
Also,
you measure things in feet.
Deb played Borderlands with us. It was really fun. Deb should come back for Borderlands again. Deb doesn't get a choice. Otherwise, I'll blackmail him. He's like, with my blackmail I have that I'm not gonna say I don't have, because if I don't, I have no bargaining power.
Every time Kyle shills a random unrelated YouTuber's channel, I take away 10% of his cut.
Guinea Pig, you owe me. Listen, I do it out of the kindness of my heart, and you allow it because out of the kindness of your heart by proxy of my heart. That sounds gay, but you know what I mean.
No. Remember that scene in Rome, Kyle, where Caesar explains to fucking Pullo and Titus that he is the one allowed to show mercy and magnanimity?
Yep.
Yes, this is the same deal.
This isn't the same deal.
This is exactly the same deal.
Kibbs is the one who goes out of his way to help all of our friends. Kibbs is the hero of this anime. Barch doesn't have any here. Barch, you're my side character. You can be my side character. Which is
why I repeat Caesar's point. Now, before you get decimated.
Look at him using these big Roman words.
Decimation is not a Roman word, Kyle.
It's a Roman
Roman term, sure, but...
He's like, I'll take 1/10 of you.
Shadow Fox 2300 says, lol, you're not wrong, Arch. I am. I fucking knew it. Like, I want to be in the Toad Artillery, and then freezes his balls out sitting next to the giant hunk of iron. And then his officer comes over. He just pokes a head out of his heated tent. Move that gun 5 meters over there. It weighs 2.5 tons. That's not my problem. Steps back inside his heated tent. Ah. I bet you that is exactly what it is, too. It is. It is just how it is. To be fair, the American 777, and it's a durable little howitzer. They gave it to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians immediately gave it to the Russians because such is life again. But the Americans had known this was happening, so they'd taken... And here's the funny part. They'd taken off all of the actual hardware and the software that allows you to aim the fucking thing. No, the Americans didn't tell you this, but the things they fucking gave to the poor Ukrainians was basically World War One fucking arty. It's like, yes, we've taken off the gunnery computer, we've taken off the GPS coordinator, we've removed all of the fancy rounds. It's basically just a rifle now. Have fun.
It shoots things, if you're lucky.
That's why the Ukrainians immediately handed it over to the Russians. They're like, piece of shit. To be fair, the 777 is a brilliant fucking howitzer. It's just, it really annoys me that they didn't put a fucking roof on it. It really genuinely annoys me that they didn't put a fucking roof on it. It's field artillery. In this day and age, the only ones that can get away with that is literally the Americans, and that's only because they're going to have complete air dominance over everything. They're not going to have to worry about counter battery at all. Speaking of, if you're in a real world war, little shadow fox, dig a hole. It's like, what does that mean? I have strong opinions about field arty these days. Very, very, very strong opinions. Much like submarines and frigates and shit. Dreyfy says thank you. Yes, F ice road truckers. Who the fuck drives those roads with summer goddamn tires? Yes, precisely. Chains on the fucking tires. Goddamn amateurs. Lord of the Possum says, hi Dev, you beautiful man. And Knight of Caliban. Hi Arch, excellent lore video this week. Also can't wait for some Dark Angels lore. You'll have to wait then. Dark, I still have so many things to cover, goddammit. And Scarfy the Stranger says, if Shaka Zulu became a Chinese production, then Shaka will just be a Chinese guy in blackface doing YFU. I mean, that would work. I'd be fine with that. I would even make him a Chinese guy and just say that he was a Chinese shipwreck dude who rose to the prominence, and he was actually Chinese all along. That'd be funny.
But why? How did he rise to prominence? What's the story arc here, Boorch?
Simple. He wire food to the black people.
Are you looking forward to the Kang Woman video or whatever movie show thing?
Yes, tremendously.
We got to cover that on the ArchCast. It's gonna be funny.
The Woman King.
When does that come out?
Sure that'll be good.
I forget.
I have no idea. I'm sure I'll notice when it does.
Okay.
Mark the Same says, Pern did a video on artillery in Ukraine. It blows up. Right, is that it? Are we through? Just checking Streamlabs. I think we are. Okay, right. There was a lot of super chats, but we got to the end today as well. Right, thank you all very much for watching, people, and thank you for your super generous donations. Particularly Dreyfy. Don't spend too much money, though. It's very grateful, though. Fantastic. Ginny Pig comes in at the end there, saying, Kibbs, would you prefer to be pegged with a boot heel or forked with a shape-shifted peen?
Guinea Pig, you can fantasize all you want, but reality isn't going to line up the way you're thinking.
Kyle, you measure things in feet. You have no right to talk about reality.
So does Guinea Pig.
Now, boot heel or forklift?
Neither. But I do volunteer Arch on my behalf. Thank you very much, Arch. Your sacrifice will be duly noted. He's like, thank you.
You must answer. I'm going to start sending you feet pics.
Barch's rosy cheeks need to be clapped. This is true. Also, you have a super. Also, Dev, I sent you something. Dev!
And Athlark says, subs should be the Uwu Essel of the next World War. Anime hero striking Kadia-chan from the depths. There were actually a couple carriers sunk by submarines. But the cowardly Americans started doing cheap shit like having destroyer escorts and other gay-ass nonsense. Very disgusting. Very disgusting. Also, the Japanese subs were of dubious quality, tragically. The I-400 was an adorable concept, but reality didn't really work out for it. Let's build the world's biggest submarine. Oh, fantastic. What will it do? Launch aircraft. What? Oh, the I-400. It's cute. They needed helicopters. That's what they needed, okay? Instead of that whole stupid floatplane thing, they just needed to invent helicopters. That would have made the I-400 way less tarded, okay? Simple. Japanese helicopters. Like the German one with the double rotors, the thwop thwop thwop, which they almost kind of made, but never actually really made.
I like that. I like that sound.
Yes, thwop thwop thwop. Right, are we through? Yes, we are. Okay, so again, thank you all very much for watching. Do indeed check out Guinea Pig. She will be doing content at some point, I'm sure. Ignore Dev though. Like he's a lazy bastard. Kyle, that was your cue to like object or something and create a sympathetic
Dev
sense of something.
I was getting Guinea Pig's channel link. It took me a second. I only have so much Kib CPU to go around. Like my response was queued, but it had to get there. But Guinea Pig would like you to subscribe because it'll make Guinea Pig happy. Whatever Guinea Pig says with Guinea Pig's text thingies doesn't matter. And Dev is a good girl. Dev is a very good girl. Dev is actually really fun to hang around. He's a chill dude.
Dev will get endorsement when Arch ends up on Topcast, which he's promised 17 times now.
He's also promised that to me. But Dev, if you deliver Kibs first, I will give you a special thing. And no, it's not sex, Dev. No. Degenerate.
But Dev might like that though.
It's true. Ignore Guinea Pig.
All right. So, again, thank you all very much for watching and for your generous attention and for watching these ancient-ass animations that Kans is looping on the background. Look, they're shooting people.
Honestly, it's kind of relaxing, like, to look at. As we've been talking, I've just been looking at them. And I have the itching to play it again.
Yes. Dawn of War 1 was a good game. It was a really good game. I don't think I have it on Steam, though. I'm pretty sure I don't. I think I have the actual disc and no fuck. Like, my computer doesn't even have a CD drive anymore, so.
I have all the boxes for all of them, but I also bought them again on Steam for the sake of convenience because I was lazy and I had money at the time.
And we will see you all again next week. And, of course, tomorrow. Next week after that, again, it's a bit dodgy because I think Disco was going to do some stuff. But I think we are on for tomorrow. So,
wait,
until then.
I think that's backwards. I think.
Backwards?
I think it's this week. Kyle? I think it's this week is dodgy. You should ask her to confirm. This week is dodgy, but next week is guaranteed, I think.
Kyle?
I'm saying that because that's what I thought I heard. Because you were there when you were there for that conversation. We should confirm. So it'll be up in the air for tomorrow.
God fuck you.
It's not even me that's doing it this time. It's not even me. I'm just saying what she said. And I'm just advocating that we get confirmation before we, know for certain.
You're introducing doubt, Kyle. That's what you're doing.
Sometimes we need to confirm to be certain, and it's okay to get confirmation.
No, Kyle. Under the bus.
Okay.
Until next time, have a good day.